Packers, Fisher has run back only one kick this season. They've been using the rookie Javon Walker, but he's not in that role tonight, and Fisher will take it in at the 4-yard line. Brings it back out to the 25-yard line, and let's take a look at the Green Bay offense.
Brett Favre, Southern Mississippi.
Amon Green, Nebraska.
William Henderson, North Carolina.
Terry Glenn, The Ohio State University.
Donald Driver, Alcorn State.
Robert Franks, University of Miami.
Chad Clifton, Tennessee.
Mike Wall, Naval Academy.
Mike Flanagan, UCLA.
Marco Rivera, Penn State.
Earl Dotson, Texas A&I, Kingsville.
So number 4 lining up under center for the 163rd consecutive time, and Amon Green picks up 2 to the 27. Here's the Bear defense.
Brian Robinson, Fresno State.
Alfonso Boone, Mount San Antonio College.
Keith Trailer, Central Oklahoma.
Philip Daniels, Georgia.
Roosevelt Colvin, Purdue University.
Brian Urlacher, New Mexico.
Mike Caldwell, Tennessee State.
R.W. McQuarters, The Oklahoma State University.
Mike Green, Northwestern State, Louisiana.
Michael Brown, Nebraska.
Jerry Azuma, New Hampshire.
2nd down and 8 now as Favre quickly over the middle, and he hits Donald Driver for a gain of 10 up to the 37 and a first down. Brett Favre began this streak 10 years ago. 162 is the number, which is the equivalent of an entire baseball season.
You know, and the amazing thing about that is not only has he played that many consecutive games, but he's played them so well at such a high level. And just think of all the practices. You know, I mean, that's the thing. You think, oh, geez, he played all these games. But to play all those games, he had to practice to get ready to play all those games.
First down, split backs from the 36-yard line. He slings it sidearm into the arms of Amon Green for a very short gain. Tackled there by Mike Caldwell, who will be playing the rest of the season in the absence of Warwick Holdman, the linebacker, hurt last week and placed on injured reserve.
Yeah, the thing about Brett Favre is he can throw the ball from any angle. His feet don't have to be in the right position. And, you know, we know that Amon Green is the best runner on the Green Bay Packer offense, but he's probably also Brett Favre's favorite pass receiver.
Has been the last couple of years. Green again, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage by Roosevelt Colvin, among other things, tied for the league lead in sacks as Colvin was 6.
And Keith Trailer did his job. You know, you always want that big guy like a Keith Trailer in there, you know, to stop guys, to plug up things. Watch Keith Trailer here. He's going to do his job. He stuffs it. Now what that does is that stops a hole, takes away the hole, and then other guys can come and make the play and converge. I'll tell you, that is manhandling someone when you can do that.
That's a yard loss, and it's the first time that Green has lost yardage on any carry this season. 3rd and 10. Favre throws into traffic and incomplete. Driver looks for a flag. There is none. The coverage that time by the corner, Jerry Azuma. And now Josh Bidwell comes in to punt after the Packers pick up 1 first down. And now they'll kick it away to the former Jet Leon Johnson. Line of scrimmage, the 37. Johnson takes it in at the 24. And then gets knocked down after a run back of about 5 by Matt Bowen. And so the Bears come out for the first time offensively. Just the start of things. Bears, Packers of Illinois. Coached by Ron Turner, brother of Norv Turner, now on Dave Wanstead's staff at Miami. With the Illini having a tough year with just 1 win. Bears now from the 31-yard line. Jim Miller to throw on first down. And the pass is right there, but incomplete. Marty Booker couldn't handle it. Darren Sharper with the coverage. Here's the Chicago offense.
Jim Miller, Michigan State. Anthony Tomlin, Michigan.
Damon Shelton, Sacramento State.
Marty Booker, Northeast Louisiana.
Dez White, Georgia Tech.
John Davis, Warrior State.
Bernard Robinson, Tulane.
Rex Tucker, Texas A&M.
Olin Kreutz, Washington.
Chris Valerio, Indiana, University of Pennsylvania.
James Williams, Cheney University.
James Big Cat Williams back on Monday night for the first time since '97 when the Bears last appeared. This is Anthony Thomas taking it out to the 34-yard line. And let's take a look right now as you look at Todd McBride, who is starting tonight. Normally the 5th or 6th defensive back, but Mike McKenzie aggravated a groin strain earlier, so they're minus McKenzie, and of course they were already minus Antoine Edwards, who's gone. Vonnie Holliday is gone at least for a few more weeks, and there is McKenzie. So a depleted Packer defense becomes even more depleted. 3rd down and 6 as Miller throws to the outside, and that's incomplete. Intended for Booker, and it was Todd McBride who was able to bat it away.
Yeah, we were just talking about McBride being in there for McKenzie, and you're going to see Todd McBride is number 27 right here. And one thing about all these Packer defensive backs, they're very, very physical. They're going to get up and they're going to bump you. Now, within the first 5 yards, they can do it, but they've been known to continue to bump after 5 yards.
McBride making his first start in almost 2 seasons as Maynard. His punt bouncing at the 26, and then it's a loose ball and a scramble for it at the 15-yard line.
Those are the types of things that if you're not going to return the ball, you always say, get away, and everyone should just run right off the field. You don't need blockers out there if you're not going to return the ball.
Well, if Donald Driver is back, but then Green Bay able to cover it up, and they have it deep in their own territory.
Yo, Murph, gotta see this.
A ship that's been abandoned.
Cool. Temperature in the upper 40s. Mike Sherman in his 3rd season as the Packer head coach. 24-12 is his record. Favre on a roll to his left, directing traffic, going very deep for Driver, who gets out in front, and he's going to go all the way. Donald Driver, 85 yards from Brett Favre. And think about it, Driver involved in that play where they almost lost the ball on the punt return because it hit him in the back, and then he comes back and on the next play pulls in an 85-yard touchdown from Favre.
And he's the speed guy, and Brett Favre breaks every key on this. It's a bootleg to his left. Now the key on Brett Favre has always been, don't worry about him. He never runs to his left or bootlegs to his left. He always bootlegs to his right. That time he comes bootlegs to the left, and you know you cannot outrun Brett Favre's arm.
One of the guys he got by was R.W. McQuarters, who is back after being hurt on opening day. Extra point is good by Longwell, and 4 minutes into the game, the Green Bay Packers take the lead over the Bears. Scrimmage on the second possession, 85 yards, John.
Here's Donald Driver right here. R.W. McQuarters is here. He's going to bump him in a cover 2. Here's Mike Brown. He has to get over. Mike Brown delays when he comes over, but watch Driver right away. Right here, he gets by McQuarters. Now watch Brown right there. He holds right there, and Driver is able to run by him, and we know that Favre has enough arm to get that ball out there.
And so Driver, as I say, before their first play from scrimmage on that drive, he was the guy involved on the punt hitting him, and then Tony Carter was able to save the day for the moment for Green Bay by recovering it. And it's 7-0.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Brett Favre's arm is he can scramble, or even an organized play like that, a bootleg, and defense has to defend 80 yards of field.
Longwell's kick. Leon Johnson takes it at the 5 and behind a wedge. Taken out of bounds at the 28. Well, Brett Favre 7 years ago in a Monday night game threw a 99-yard touchdown pass at Soldier Field, equaling, of course, the longest play from scrimmage in the history of the National Football League to Robert Brooks. And this is Favre's longest pass play since that night. He shines in the spotlight. Oh, he shines in the daytime too.
He shines everywhere, and he really loves Donald Driver. In fact, he thought Donald Driver maybe could have been a starter a year ago, that he really put in his time, and maybe too much time before becoming a starter.
Anthony Thomas for 7. And, you know, one of the reasons they felt that Antonio Freeman was expendable, of course, one reason was Antonio wanted a lot of money and eventually wound up at Philadelphia, was the emergence of somebody like Donald Driver.
And the other thing is, you know, Bill Schrader. I know one thing, that Brett Favre would much rather have Donald Driver in there than Bill Schrader.
That was the longest play from scrimmage in the NFL this season. 85 yards. Meanwhile, Thomas just gained 7 after carrying the ball last week for no gain more than 5 yards as the heavy-duty back against Buffalo. And this time Thomas is topped by Nate Wayne.
If you're going to make any more than that, any more yardage than that, you better get big old Gilbert Brown blocked. Watch Gilbert here. Now, this is what he's in there for. He's a run stopper. He's a nose tackle. He's just going to plug up everything right here, take away any cutback. There's no way you're going to cut back, so then you have to run right into that linebacker. He not only plugs the holes, but he keeps those blockers off that next tier, that tier of linebackers.
339, the listed weight, give or take.
And he lost weight to get there.
He did. 3rd down and 1. And they give the ball to Leon Johnson, who's the run back guy and the short yardage guy, as they take Thomas out and let Johnson do the work here. And he comes up short.
And this is Chicago Bear football, though, and this is the thing. You know, you say they ought to throw more, and I also say that. But then if you throw on 1st down, which they should do, and it's incomplete, then you get 2nd and long or 3rd and long, and they're not very good there. They don't have offense for that.
Well, they ran, and then they ran again, and they're forced to punt here. Maynard's 2nd boot of the night, fielded by Darian Gordon at the 15, and Gordon brings it back out to the 24. 8:46 left in the opening period in Champaign. Favre to Driver for 85 yards.
Way over across the field.
And he had beaten McQuarters at first, who was lined up opposite him, as Terry Glenn was the intended receiver here, the former Patriot who had to come out of last week's game with headaches, went to New York to see a specialist. There is Chad Clifton, who is the starting left tackle. He's out for the moment. So the center, Mike Flanagan, replaces him along the line. And Frank Winters comes out to resume his position anchoring the line.
There you see both of them. Frank Winters up over the ball, and Mike Flanagan, the left tackle.
Green tripped up, minimal gain, tackled by Alex Brown.
And then Earl Dotson, we know he's taken the place of Tauscher. So this was a good offensive line, and then they start getting injuries, and then they get an injury, and then it goes to another injury. Mike Flanagan just came back as the center last week with a broken thumb, and now he has to move out to left tackle. Frank Winters, the old veteran, old bag of donuts, he can always come back in here and do the job against the Bears.
Winters, who played at Western Illinois, tonight here in Eastern Illinois. And a whistle before the snap. Ed Hockley is the referee.
Before the ball was snapped, false start, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, it's still 3rd down.
Earl Dotson. So what's the story with Clifton? Melissa, what do you know?
Well, Al, official word from the bench, he has a stinger in his neck. He's expected to return, and Al, he's a player that Mike Sherman says has unlimited potential.
Well, right now, Clifton, the 3rd-year guy out of Tennessee, with Flanagan going over from center. Winters now snapping. Dotson with a false start, and Favre out of the gun on 3rd down and 13. Against the 4-man Chicago rush, over the middle to Green. And Green takes it out to the 35-yard line. And that should be enough for a 1st down. Tackled by Mike Brown.
You know, we were talking about Amon Green being Brett Favre's favorite receiver. And these are the types of things that he does so well. It's that check down or check through. You see him here, and now you have the receivers out there, and he's just going to come through and just check and be right in this area. Now the linebackers want to drop. The defensive backs drop. So he's going to check down right in that area in front of the linebackers, and then he can run to get the first down before they get to him.
Green with under 7 minutes to go. Tackled by Brian Urlacher. So the first time we've had a chance to call his name tonight. 3rd year out of New Mexico, and a guy who has come in, made a major splash. Gets his first prime time, at least Monday night exposure.
It's going to be interesting. You know, last Monday night it was Ray Lewis, and we saw what he did in that game, especially that first half. And then if someone says, you know, who would be, other than Ray Lewis, who would be the best linebacker in football, you have to go to a Brian Urlacher.
2nd and 8. They give it to Driver on the end around. Driver has a first down. And Driver is out of bounds at midfield. Mike Flanagan threw the block to Springham, and that's a 13-yard gain.
You know, it's interesting. The Green Bay Packer offense isn't letting the Bear defense make a physical game out of this. I mean, they're running bootlegs, they're running reverses, they're doing all these type of misdirection things. You know, get you going one way and come back the other, and then using their speed. You know, you have to block if you're going to be out there. Now watch Robert Ferguson. I mean, all these ends in this West Coast offense have to be big.
First down, slant, caught. Terry Glenn to the 35-yard line, tackled by Jerry Azuma. 14-yard gain. Brett Favre, through the years, he's played 20 games against Chicago. He's won 16 of them and thrown 40 touchdown passes. 2 per game.
That's Brett Favre.
And at least 1 touchdown pass in every game in each of the 21. Green cuts it back. Huge hole. And McQuarters saves a touchdown, but there's a flag down. Flag down at the 25-yard line.
And it was a late flag. It was thrown by the referee, who's behind the quarterback after Amon Green got through the line. Ed Hockley threw that flag, and it was whatever happened, it happened after Amon Green left.
Apparently happened against Green Bay as well, as you can tell, and it will negate that run by Green.
I tell you, it wasn't necessary. Ed Hockley spent a little time in the weight room, huh?
There were 2 fouls by the offense on the play. Holding. Number 58 declined. Holding. Number 89 accepted 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Well, that's why Green was able to get so free. Flanagan and Ferguson with holes.
Yeah, and Mike Flanagan was the first one, and I think that was called after he gets through. You see, here's Ferguson. That's the second hole. You could just see he grabbed a little jersey in there. But as you said, it would have been Flanagan's hold that would have sprung Amon Green.
That makes it 1st and 12 now from the spot at the 38-yard line. Davenport is in the game. The fake to him. Favre throws wide open. His Driver to the 21-yard line. Tackled by Mike Caldwell. 17-yard gain.
And I'll tell you this, Favre is getting to feel way, way too comfortable. Now, he probably felt comfortable coming into this game because, you know, a Bear defensive lineman hasn't gotten a sack yet. So you can see they haven't gotten a sack and they haven't gotten any pressure on him. And when he can get guys like this with speed like Donald Driver wide open, short or deep, he's going to get him the ball. Because he can go through progressions. I mean, he's looking 1 receiver, 2nd receiver, 3rd receiver.
Driver's had a 100-yard night already in the quarter. 3 catches, 111 yards. It's 1st and 10 to the 21-yard line. And Green chugs his way over the 20 to the 19 for a gain of 2 in a quarter in which Green Bay has now outgained Chicago 168 yards to 13.
You know, in their whole game plan, you can see it is that misdirection thing where you get the backs going one way and Favre bootlegs and goes the other way, or you get the backs going one way and then you come back on a reverse, and it's really put this Bear defense on their heels. You know, Greg Bloss, the defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears, wanted this to be a very tough, physical game, and the Packers aren't letting them.
2nd and 8. Favre, good protection to the end zone. Open, touchdown. Tyrone Davis, the tight end. 19 yards to put them up by 2 touchdowns.
I'll tell you, the ball doesn't stay in the air very long when Brett Favre throws it. I mean, that thing, he just goes back there and zips it. He said, I want to throw it as hard as I can because the quicker it gets to the guy, the quicker he can do something with it.
Late flag.
I'll tell you, that one got to Tyrone Davis awfully quickly. Tyrone Davis was a wide receiver in college.
Taunting, offense number 81 after the touchdown. That's a touchdown counts. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
So he celebrates by taunting his first catch of the season.
But look at the pass protection, and this is where it all starts. I mean, this is a perfect pocket where Brett Favre could come up and step up and step up. You see him come up there, he gets back, then he steps up. And I'll tell you, that's slow motion, but he really fired that. And we still have to look and see Tyrone Davis taunt.
Ryan Longwell for the point after. So with 3.5 to go in the opening quarter, it has been all Green Bay. They've outgained them 187 yards to 13, and the Packers lead 14-0. And then a flag thrown for a taunt. And John, you have to tell me where there's a taunt here.
I think he says something, then watch him throw the ball here. I think he throws the ball right there at Mike Brown, and that's when you're going to see the flag come out. I think they figure that there's probably something he said, but I don't think they flagged him for that. I think it was that little flip of the ball to the defender, Mike Brown.
Maybe should have just spiked it. So the kickoff comes now from the 15 instead of the 30. Chicago will get better field position. Leon Johnson into Packer territory. And all the way down to the 37-yard line where he's tackled by Todd McBride. So the taunting penalty is costly, 35-yard run back. Meanwhile, this Saturday, Florida State and #1 Miami at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And then #2 Texas against third-ranked Oklahoma and other regional action. Showdown Saturday here on ABC. You'll see the 1, 2, and 3 teams in the country.
I think this would be a good time for the Bears to take a shot here. I mean, a shot at the end zone. Right now, you get a little momentum. You got that penalty. You have good field position. If you're going to do it, this is a good spot to do it.
Jim Miller is 0 for his first 2. Short drop to the outside he goes. And Marty Booker makes the catch. He gets taken out of bounds by Todd McBride.
Todd McBride again playing over there for Mike McKenzie. It was interesting. I watched Mike McKenzie in the pregame warm-up, and he was out there and he was going to start. And remember when we did the preseason game, he had a pulled groin then and didn't play in that game. And I guess he irritated the groin in the pregame warm-up because he was the announced starter. Then they announced that Todd McBride was going to start.
And it was too late to inactivate him. So he's in uniform, but doesn't figure to see any action. 2nd down and 4. Miller. And it's caught by Booker inside the 20. Covered again by McBride.
I'll tell you one thing about Jim Miller is he can get rid of the ball. You know, he's not a guy that's going to run. He's not a movement guy. They don't bootleg him a lot. But the one thing that he can do is he can get the ball out of there. He does not take a sack. I mean, watch how quickly he does. And he doesn't have to have his feet set properly. This is a heck of a throw to Marty Booker right there.
Booker, who caught 100 passes last season. This year again, he's Miller's favorite target, and Miller has to take a timeout before a 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. As you can see, Jim has had rough going against Green Bay, averaging only 4.5 yards per pass.
Well, you know, the Bears aren't a good team playing uphill. I mean, the Bears are a better team when they can, you get a lead, they can slow down the game, run the ball, do those kinds of things. And when you get them in this situation here where they're down by 2 touchdowns and they have to go, at least that field position made them open it up a little.
No jacket, 48 degrees.
No, this is great football weather. To me, this is hitting weather. You know, it's always that thing where someone says this is, it's a great day for football. It depends on who you are.
We went from summer to winter. I mean, what happened to fall?
I know, but the linemen, I'll guarantee you, the linemen love this weather day. You can go all day in weather like this. Now, the wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks may not like it. I'll guarantee you, linemen love it tonight.
1st and 10 from the 18 after the timeout to the corner of the end zone. And a little too far, but a flag is thrown. Intended for the running back, Anthony Thomas. Matt Bowen got a hand on it.
You watch Matt Bowen and his body language coming back. He knew it, too. But that's the thing that they have to do, I think.
Defense, number 28. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
I think one of the things about Bears and being a Bear fans is you get a little frustrated that they don't try and go deep. They don't try and go to the end zone. Here they're trying, and they're going to Anthony Thomas, and Matt Bowen was just all over him. This is a pretty good throw. In fact, if Matt Bowen doesn't do what Matt Bowen does, that would have been a touchdown.
Instead, it's a 14-yard penalty. Makes it 1st and goal at the 4. Miller, reverse roll, throws, caught, wide open, Booker. Their primary receiver, and how often do you see a number 1 receiver get that open?
It was that old key breaker, and we saw earlier Brett Favre did it. You know, he doesn't move much in the pocket. Jim Miller doesn't, and he doesn't bootleg much, but that time he bootlegged, and he bootlegged to his left. And I'm sure that the Packers in their scouting report, that's one of the things they probably say. He never does that.
So the taunting penalty on Davis leads to a short field for Chicago, and they capitalize as Edinger at a Maynard's hole tacks on the extra point. And just what Chicago needed after they were down by 2 touchdowns to get right back in it with a quick and efficient touchdown drive.
Yeah, here's the way it all starts with a bootleg. You see, he fakes to the backs, going to his right, then he bootlegs out to his left. You can see now watch Marty Booker here again on Todd McBride. Booker sells him that he's going to the inside. He may have given him a little push there, but he tells him that he was going to run the back line, and then he just stopped and he came back to the outside.
Little push, McBride slips, and Booker is wide open.
You know, I was watching these Bear receivers in practice the other day, Al, and the thing that impressed me, they're all big guys. Everyone, I mean, the top 4 wide receivers for the Chicago Bears each weigh 215 pounds. You know, you could just see that strength there, and he's saying, "I'm sorry, I just had to use my strength on the guy."
Booker at 215, Marcus Robinson 215, David Terrell, good-looking second-year receiver out of Michigan. He's 215. Des White 215.
Yeah, all 4 of them weigh the same thing.
Miller 3 for 3 on that drive. All 3 passes to Booker. Najee Davenport brings it back from the 7. And the rookie out of Miami is tackled up at the 27 by Joe Tafoya. So next week we go to Seattle. Brand new stadium in Seattle. First time Monday night's been in Seattle in a decade. Looking very much forward to that. The 49ers come in red hot to take on Mike Holmgren's Seahawks. Dolphins and Broncos, Miami and Denver. Good one on ESPN on Sunday night from Denver. 2 very hot teams. Broncos winning yesterday. Dolphins, of course, knocking off New England.
You know, that whole thing was, they started with Tyrone Davis's taunting penalty, and that gave the Bears great field position, and then for the Bears, they went for it.
First down, Green takes it up to the 30-yard line, where he's tackled by Urlacher.
You know, Greg Blosh was saying the other day about Brian Urlacher. He said, you know, if you wanted to draw up the perfect guy, he's the perfect middle linebacker, the perfect football player, the perfect man, the perfect family man, the perfect father, the perfect everything. He said you'd draw up Brian Urlacher. Well, he was a safety in college, but he weighs 260 pounds now.
Safety, sometime wide receiver, sometime kick returner. 2nd and 7, Favre throws, And that's caught by Terry Glenn. He got inside McQuarters, who, as we mentioned before, is seeing his first action since opening day. That's a 21-yard gain, and Green Bay has shredded Chicago's defense for 211 yards in the period.
And it's all starting with, with the receivers running good routes, but it's starting with the pass protection, because Brett Favre, if you give him time, he's going to eat you up. And watch this. It's a blitz. They're trying to blitz up the middle to get in his face, to throw him out of rhythm. They don't get there, so now they have fewer defenders downfield.
From the 50, Favre. And as Brett is so often prone to do, if the secondary does its job, he just throws it away.
Well, and that's what he's prone to do now. There was a day where he would have tried to force something in there, and you'd see Mike Holmgren over there on the sideline going crazy, and Brett Favre saying, well, I thought I saw something there, but now, he realizes it's first down. He's going to get 2 more. Why do something stupid? There's nothing there. He just throws it away.
I remember when Favre first became the Packers starter, Holmgren described him once to us as he plays young. This was around 1995.
Yeah, I think he still plays young.
In a way, you're right. Here's Green on 2nd and 10, starts to slip, and down he goes, close to the line of scrimmage on what figures to be the final play of the first period, a period in which the Packers outgained Chicago 212 yards to 36. But the Bears able to get back into the game. Miller to Booker for the touchdown. And at the end of 15 minutes of play in Champaign, Green Bay leading Chicago 14-7. And Monday Night Football resumes after this message and a word from our ABCs. The one-year home of the Chicago Bears. Next year, back to refurbished Soldier Field in Chicago. But for now, in effect, they're playing 16 road games this year. 3rd and 9, and the catch is made by Javon Walker, their #1 draft choice out of Florida State, on a 3rd down conversion to the 32-yard line.
Don't you get the feeling that Brett Favre really doesn't care or worry about who's in there running pass pattern? He just looks for a yellow helmet and a white jersey and throws it to him. And they can put any guy in any position. And watch, when he sees something open, I mean, he gets those eyes and he puts that mustard on it.
Already thrown for 197 yards in the game. First down, trying to go up and over 200. And he jams it into Terry Glenn. It looked like the ball was ready to come out of Glenn's hands. That's how hard he threw it. And Terry holds on for a 26-yard gain. 1st and goal.
Brett Favre was telling me about a month ago, he said when he saw Terry Glenn, he said he has the best hands he's ever seen. And if you watch this on Terry Glenn, he even comes under control a little before he catches that ball, because he saw the defender there. He saw Mike Green there. He knew he was going to get hit, and he stopped a little. Brett Favre saw Green there, and he threw that ball a little short. That was a heck of a play.
Glenn's been a high-maintenance guy, but the reason he keeps getting a job, catches like that. Ahman Green, not too many guys going to hold that one in.
Well, and saying a quarterback and a receiver being on the same page, that was a great example of the quarterback and the receiver being on the same page, because Favre wasn't going to lead him into the safety, and Glenn wasn't going to go in. You see, he comes under control a little, stops there, and then he knows he's going to get the hit. He gets down ready to take the hit, but Favre didn't lead him in where Mike Green could get him.
They spread it out from the gun, 2nd down and goal. Favre into the end zone, gets it in there for a touchdown to Bubba Franks. And with a flag down against Chicago, Favre looks unstoppable.
I think he is unstoppable, and and the big thing is, I mean, this is Brett Favre, and we know what he is, but the other thing is he's getting great protection, and the Bear defense isn't getting any pass rush. You see this, when he can get back in the shotgun and stand there like that and have those lanes for vision and those throwing lanes, he is going to eat you up.
Longwell, the extra point. That is the 8th consecutive time the Bears have given up a touchdown in the red zone. They are being shredded. Favre has thrown for 228 yards and 3 touchdowns. 21-7 pack. His pass rating now back up to perfect. In very few businesses can you go back from perfect to imperfect to perfect again, but that's as high as a pass rating can go, as the kickoff is fielded at the 5-yard line by Leon Johnson. And the ex-Jet with a good run back here up to the 37. Well, ABC Fantasy Wednesday starts with Damon Dirty Dancing on an all-new My Wife and Kids. ABC Fantasy Wednesday starting at 8 Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central. You know, John, television is a phenomenal medium. We've made our living from it for years, but sometimes it can sanitize things. I think you have to sit here, as we do, and watch how hard Favre throws the ball. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes I've been on the field when Brett Favre's been throwing, you know, in a practice or in a pregame, and you can feel that ball go by you.
Hear it. Got that. Anthony Thomas picks up 8. It's like a fastball pitcher in baseball. You can remember talking to Tim McCarver about this. There's a hiss. The ball has a hiss. And Favre's ball has a hiss.
It does have a hiss. I mean, it'll go by it. And when receivers first come here, that's you know, they have to get their hands up. At first, they just start protecting themselves so they don't break their fingers. In fact, Donald Driver, in learning to catch Brett Favre passes, has broken his finger twice. But you see why he throws it? He puts I mean, he has a strong arm, and he has big hands, but he puts his whole body into it.
Here's Anthony Thomas to the outside, and Nate Wayne one-arms him to the ground, shy of the first. You know, in baseball, you get older, and then you get smarter, and you don't have the fastball, so you use a lot of off-speed stuff. It's a lot different with this guy.
Yeah, he's a lot like Roger Clemens. I mean, Clemens gets older, you know, and I watch him, and he still brings that fastball. Right. And Brett Favre is one of those guys that I don't know that he'll ever lose his fastball. I think he's had that fastball like that in grammar school, and I think he's brought that thing with him all his life.
He is really on tonight. And the Bears now cannot pick up the first down, as Anthony Thomas can only take it across the 45 and comes up a half-yard shy.
Yeah, and then these fans that are Bear fans here are booing that. In fact, Jim Miller started to walk off towards the sideline, and I think Dick Durant sent him back to go for it on 4th down. Remember last week they were going to go for one on 4th down. In fact, it was going to be a quarterback sneak, and the left tackle, Bernard Robertson, jumped offside. But it was about the same situation, about the same position on the field.
Right. Against Buffalo, they were trailing second quarter. They've asked for a measurement to see just how far they have to go. Now, if it is going to be a quarterback sneak, Jim Miller would have to exceed his career average here.
He would have to exceed how much Ed Hockley just said.
Right.
His career average is what, 1.44 inches?
That's exactly right. There it is. 50 attempts, 2 net yards, 1 and about 3/7 inches.
And I think he's going to have to double or triple his average on this carry if he's to pick up the first down with a quarterback sneak.
If they go for it and not just try to draw them offside. And here they go. And they give it to Thomas, and he gets it.
I was wondering that last week, if they were really going to go for it or just draw him off sides. And I asked Dick Durant. In fact, we asked Jim Miller too, and both of them said no, they were going for it. And it was a quarterback sneak.
Well, a very gutsy call by Durant. You're down by 2 touchdowns. If you don't get it, you give Favre 45 yards.
Right. Watch Rex Tucker here, the right guard, number 64. He's going to pull and get a lead. A little push right there, and that little push let Thomas just get that extra inch or 2.
Very big 4th down conversion considering all of the circumstances. And now the catch is made on the outside by Booker, with McBride forcing him out of bounds in Green Bay territory. 1.44 inches. John, let's put this in perspective here.
Well, if you take that's a yard. I mean, here's a yardstick, so we got a yard going down there. So now if we take, we know it's not even close to a yard, but that would be right here. So his average would be, every time he would run the ball, this is how much he would average. So if you need a threat, you're not going to call on Jim Miller to run.
Well, you couldn't expect him to double his average there. And this is a 2-yard gain. Think of it this way, John. If Jim Miller were to have a 100-yard night with that average, he'd have to carry the ball 2,500 times.
Right. He would have had to have started in Chicago.
That's right.
And then to practice at Lake Forest and then continue down here in Champaign. Sherman's done a heck of a job with this job. And he's one of those guys that, you know, if you need a settling influence, he can be that kind of guy. But if you need a little fire and emotion, he can give you some of that too.
Boy, did he give it to the officials last week too, when he thought they were slow. And a look at a replay, and there's Thomas with another second burst, picking up the first down. The hard-running Anthony Thomas, their number 2 choice out of Michigan last year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Anthony Thomas is seeing a lot of 8-man up, 9-man up, always getting a free hitter, and they know that, you know, how good he was last year. So one of the things when you play the Bears, you're going to have to stop their running game. And here you see they start out in the left-hand side. They get a pretty good lead by their fullback, although he stands up too much. That one was all Anthony Thomas.
From the 41 now, Miller has time, lofts one, incomplete, intended for Booker. Good position that time by McBride. Booker has caught 4 passes tonight, the only 4 completions for Jim Miller.
I think the one thing that, you know, the Bears, you know, have to be more aggressive on offense here, and the reason they aren't going for it on 4th down is at some point you have to say, hey, we can't stop Brett Favre. So if we're not going to stop him, then we better get in a shootout here. Now, that's not Bears football. I know that, but the way Brett Favre is going tonight, then you better get in a shootout.
David Terrell, number 83, is in the game. Big play receiver. Little swing out to Thomas. That's a first down. Flag down. And Thomas is rolled down at the 22-yard line.
That's one thing that you can do after you throw a little. You can run draws and you can run screen passes. That was a screen pass to Anthony Thomas.
Coming back.
Hockey signal's coming back anyway. Sometimes on a screen pass you'll
pass
get
interference. Offense number 80 was blocking downfield. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Des White.
Well, number 80 can block downfield, but he can't block downfield when the ball's in the air. I mean, there's no reason that number 80 can't block downfield unless the ball hadn't been thrown yet or the ball was in the air. There's no such rule that you can't block. I mean, that's what he was doing. What he did, I'm sure, or what they thought he did, is he blocked before the ball was thrown or while it was in the air.
2nd and 20 now from the 48-yard line. Miller, ton of time, but the coverage is good, and he almost got it in there anyway, with Matt Bowen covering Dustin Lyman, tight end.
Yeah, and that was, again, both of these teams are running bootlegs right and left. That was a bootleg to his right and throwback. What Jim Miller's going to do is he's going to bootleg to his right, then he's throwing back all the way across the field to Dustin Lyman. Now, if there was any pass interference there, it had to be Lyman's.
Yeah.
Look at his right hand. He had his right hand on Matt Bowen's jersey. Bowen's a tough guy, though. He just played right through everything. And that's what you try and do. You try and get your hand and arm up between his hands and through him.
3rd and 20. Miller slings it, caught at the 40-yard line by Des White, but he's well shy of the first down. Tackled there by Darian Gordon as the clock ticks down to 8 minutes to go in the half.
And that's going to put him right in that area of field goal range. I mean, one thing they didn't get a first down, but they could have gotten close to field goal range. It's about a 53-yard field goal, isn't it?
It'll be now it's a
fake.
A fake as they bring Edinger out. Everybody else lines up to the left. They put Terrell in motion. They snap it to Booker. He sends it back to Urlacher. And that's knocked down. So Urlacher, we mentioned before, was the kind of guy who at New Mexico ran back kicks, threw occasionally, was a running back in addition to being a linebacker and defensive back, and this time it was smelled out. So Chicago with a little trickery and deceit that doesn't work. Green Bay gets it back. There's a fella with a cornfield, and this is what he does to continue to lionize this most enduring of rivalries.
You think that's feed corn or sweet corn? I say sweet corn.
It's not on the cob, I know that. Amon Green. Meanwhile, this is as big a trick play when you look at the people involved. The snapper is Patrick Manelli, who's an eligible guy. They have Terrell in motion. The snap then goes to Booker, and behind him is Urlacher.
Here's Urlacher. Now, had this worked, this would be a thing of beauty. The fact that it doesn't work, it's very, very ugly. But you'd think, I mean, that's where the special teams coach is up too late, has too much caffeine in it.
That has to be
to come up with that.
That has to be a 4:30 in the morning call.
Right, we're going to have our middle linebacker throw one to our deep snapper. That sounds good to me.
Mike Sweatman is the special teams coach. Used to be with the Jets. We're going to file that one away.
Yeah, but, you know, again, you say, why do they do that? They give the Packers pretty good field position. And it was like I said, at some point you have to say, we can't stop Brett Favre. We don't have a defense that is going to contain or stop Brett Favre. So we better score some points against them, and we have to make some aggressive moves.
Jerry Azuma stopped him on that last play with a corner blitz. Hardest that Brett's been hit tonight. And then Green is tackled after a short gain at the 39-yard line. So the Bears do hold 3 and out.
Did you see Brian Urlacher on that play? He looked like he's mad at himself that he better make some tackles here because he's mad at himself for that pass he threw. It probably looked good in practice, though, didn't he? Probably threw a spiral, hit the guy, everyone laughed, carried him off. Didn't work there, so I better go back to what I do and start tackling some of these practice.
He was 10 for 10 in practice. Bidwell's punt, fielded inside the 10 by Leon Johnson. Back he comes from the 8, and it's going to turn out to be a good move for Leon and the Bears because he brings it all the way out to the 38, pending a flag, pending the penalty here.
Ed Hockley's a lawyer.
From Arizona.
Yeah.
Ref the Super Bowl last year.
You know, with all the hours that he puts in officiating and he puts in the gym,
yes,
you wonder how many billing hours he has.
And he likes to play golf, too.
No, he doesn't have time. You can't do all that stuff.
We're letting out all the secrets. Offsetting.
I'll tell you, he is a good referee, though. I mean, when Ed Hockley does a game, he has control of it.
And I think he explains things very well. Some people thought he over-explained a few things in the Super Bowl, and they work on Favre.
Yeah, that's not a good sign because when you're doing those kind of works on him, you're working on his shoulders. You're checking his shoulders.
The Iron Man.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. During the kick, holding by the receiving team, number 33. During the return, face mask by the kicking team, number 27. By rule, the ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, and they keep the ball first down.
Larry Wiggum on one side, Todd McBride on the other, and Brett Favre paying the price after that corner blitz from Jerry Azuma. 6 minutes top of his Bears, 21-7. Chicago now at the 37-yard line on first down, beginning this drive. And stopped just about at the line of scrimmage is Anthony Thomas. Jim Belushi is synonymous with Chicago. Is the Wrigley Building?
Yes, yes.
Wrigley Field and all that?
Wrigley Field, Soldier Field. Very good to be here in Champaign. Watching the Bears and the Green Bay Packers. You know, we wait for this game all year long. This is really great. Well, the game's not over. You see, we're luring them right now. Everything is falling into place right now. Second half, they're going to get tired. We'll catch up, we'll win.
Well, this guy right here is still going to have something to do with it. I think
he's a great athlete. There's no doubt about it, but he can be beat.
Yeah, and you got to get more pressure on him.
Yeah. Miller on second down and 9. Throws, and it's knocked down. Double coverage, and Darren Sharper was able to swat it down to make it 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, that coverage is great back there.
So according to Jim,
which
is Wednesday nights, of course.
No, Tuesday night.
I'm sorry, about Tuesday night.
8:30.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's actually tomorrow night we got a great show with Sidney Crawford's going to be on it, and Mike Ditka.
Oh, I heard.
Yeah, Ditka's going to be on it. It's one of the funniest shows we got. And we're excited about it.
That fits in. Bears, Mike Ditka. If I ask you, as a Bear fan, Chicago fan, what one person do you think of when you hear Chicago Bears?
Well, Dick Butkus always.
Yeah.
It's interesting because John and I were talking about this yesterday.
We grew up with Butkus.
Well, we both said George Hallis. Maybe it's the age thing here.
Yeah.
3rd down and 9, and that's incomplete.
Yeah,
some say Gale Sayers.
Yeah. Well, Sayers, but Butkus, for the Belushis, we were all defensive guys, linebackers. Butkus was always the man.
Butkus could have been a Belushi, or Belushi could have been a Butkus. You got the same deals going.
We all hit as hard,
We haven't even talked about Walter Payton. I mean, that's the long and storied history. Hey, apropos of nothing, as this punt gets, who would you like to see as the next Cubs manager?
Cubs manager? Well, to be honest with you, Al, I'm on the short list. It's confirmed this morning that out of 10, I'm one of the ones they're considering. But I'd like to see Lee Elliott come back. He brought a little spark to the team.
Oh, he certainly did.
There was no foul for holding on the play.
No foul for holding. Okay, and we're going to break. Favre's coming back. It'll be great to see him, my man.
Oh, great to see
you tomorrow night, according to Jim.
Thank you so much.
Right here on ABC.
Go Bears.
Plays, you needed elucidation.
And I agree with you. I mean, I think it's always better when the referees explain something fully rather than leave you guessing what they're doing.
Exactly. 2nd and 6, and that's catches made up at the 30-yard line by Terry Glenn. So what was the story with Brett Favre? Melissa, what do you know?
Well, as you can see, the 3-time NFL MVP is back in the game, but the trainers checked out everything from his neck to his shoulders to his arms to his hands. Turns out he was banged up on the play, but they sent him back in.
He is indestructible.
Well, he got banged up. It was on that Jerry Azuma blitz, and he was kind of hit, at the same time by 2 other guys.
Coming back to make the catch is Driver. The ball is a live ball. It is picked up by Mike Brown, of all guys, and Brown almost scores the 5th touchdown of his career as he's tackled inside the 5.
Mike Brown is just one of those guys that happens to, that he does it. He's a football player. He's a playmaker, and you do it once or twice, you say it's lucky, but when you do it in every game, it's Mike Brown. Let's Driver, he's going to come down. He's going to the outside. He has a ball. As he starts to move to go up the field, he just drops the ball. But Mike Brown is always in the right place.
It's amazing.
If you need a big play to be made, you need a guy right there. There's Mike Brown.
Last week, Colvin started to run a fumble back lateral to Brown. Of course, it was Brown in the 2 overtime games last year running back interceptions for touchdowns.
And these are the types of things that the Bears need. They're not going to have enough offense to beat these Packers, to overcome them. They have to get plays from their defense and their special teams.
1st and goal. Here's Miller on a roll, throwing, and it is a incomplete pass. Almost a fingertip grab by John Davis. Almost.
And one of the things, for whatever reason, both of these teams don't want their quarterbacks to stay back in the pocket, and they're doing a lot of movement, especially on 1st and 2nd downs. I mean, both teams have run a lot of bootlegs, and that was a perfect throw. I mean, you say a receiver has to catch that one. Of course he has to catch it. Donald Driver, he was the guy that just fumbled. It put the Bears in this position.
2nd down and goal. And Thomas taken down just shy of the 1-yard line. Gilbert Brown stuffed him.
I'll tell you, Gilbert Brown will stuff you. I mean, that's more like running into one of these buildings here on campus. I mean, when you run into Gilbert Brown and he's going any way he's going, that is going to be like running into a truck or something. I mean, watch him here, how he's going forward. Gilbert hits him, and he's going perpendicular.
They're running into the Madden cruiser.
Yeah, the Madden cruiser is going down Highway 57 at about 60 miles an hour.
3rd and goal. Fake. And then the catch by John Davis. Touchdown.
Yep, that's what he did. John Davis dropped it. Had the touchdown earlier. Jim Miller came right back to John Davis 2 plays later, and they get the touchdown.
Sweet redemption. And for Donald Driver, he made the catch. He fumbled. Brown sets them up, and the Bears get right back into it. Edinger now for the point after.
This routine, and he goes turns his back to the goalpost.
Well, the Packers have outgained the Bears 288 yards to 79, and yet it's a 1-touchdown game.
Watch how it starts. I formation, the running formation. You give the play action fake. You get the linebackers to bite, and then you get your tight end John Davis in behind them. But I'll tell you, they really did bite on that play action. And Anthony Thomas made a good run of it, too. Niall Diggs just takes right after him. Look what Donald Driver's saying. That was his.
This fumble sets it up. He had possession. It was a catch. Brown came up with it, took it inside the 5, and then after John Davis dropped a touchdown pass, he comes back. Davis, who joined the team last year, scored his first touchdown as a Bear last week. It's the second one tonight.
I'll tell you, the one score the Bears got, started as that taunting penalty, and then this next score was a result of a turnover and Mike Brown picking up the fumble. The Bears have a tough time gaining a lot of yardage offensively, but in a football game there are other ways to get it.
Najee Davenport to run this one back from the 10-yard line. Rookie from the University of Miami up to the 25-yard line. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Madden NFL 2003 from EA Sports. It's in the game. By Ford, no boundaries. Budweiser, brewed fresh in America. And Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
One thing that did change this game defensively was that blitz by Azuma. That they weren't getting any pressure on Favre. He was having his way. And I think that play took him out of rhythm for a while.
And this is Green. Stopped at the line of scrimmage.
That they had to get something going. That they were kind of lethargic defensively. They weren't getting any pressure. Then they come with this play right here. Here's Azuma. There's Phillip Daniels. They get there, and I think that was the thing that got them started. And then that kind of changed. Whatever Green Bay had going, Chicago started to take a little of it away from it.
Favre has never had a first half in which he's thrown for more yardage.
Favre's nuts. I was telling him, come on, louder. Is that all you can do?
He said, come on, because I'm taking this to the 2-minute warning.
Oh.
So wear yourself out. He's thrown for 248 yards in the half. 2-minute warning, packed by 7. Refrigerator in 1985. We'll take a look back at that on Monday Night Football Legends and a live interview with the Fridge, who's in South Carolina, coming up at the half. 2nd and 10 now, 2 minutes to the half. And the pass for Driver is incomplete, but flags all over the place.
Yeah, whatever they saw, they all saw.
Reggie Austin was the defensive back.
That ball was thrown, as you said, flags all over the place. They all come flying at the same time. Someone is arguing there that ball was
pass
tipped.
Interference. Defense, number 24. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Number 24 is Reggie Austin. You're going to see him against Donald Driver here. See, he didn't get his hands on him on the line of scrimmage, and then he got him there and just grabbed him. I mean, that was... There's nothing you can say. You can't say I didn't do it when you did that.
First and 10, far over the middle. That is caught by Javon Walker, the #1 pick in last year's draft. R.W. McQuarters trips him up. Packers with all of their timeouts.
You know, you can say in so many situations that these are situations that Brett Favre is great in.
A 2nd and 3. That pass is thrown behind Bubba Franks.
You know, you can say the last 2 minutes of a half, the last 2 minutes of a game, cold weather, Lambeau Field, frozen tundra, snow, wind. All that means is wherever Brett Favre plays, he plays well.
And along the way, he's approaching the 40,000-yard mark. He's become the 8th player. He needs 7 more yards. Will he get them here? Pass caught at the 30-yard line, or juggled by Walker, and he never had possession. Surrounded by blue shirts, couldn't hold on. 4th down and 3.
And one thing, this Bear defense is starting to throw Favre a little more out of rhythm. You see the route here. I mean, this is a perfect throw. And again, all these guys stay alive. These receivers all stay alive because wherever they are on any kind of play, Brett Favre can get the ball to them.
Josh Bidwell's punt. Johnson lets it go this time, and they'll take it at the 20. And the Bears are staying alive. Bears hanging in despite being outgained 295 yards to 79, John.
Yeah, they are. And the thing I was just talking about, we illustrate here, is Greg Bloss, the defensive coordinator of the Bears, was saying this, that no matter what happens, Brett Favre is always alive because his arm is so strong. So you just have to plaster with your guys. I mean, that he can run, and the receivers will never get out of range. I mean, that was proven early in the game when Brett Favre threw that one to Donald Driver.
That was like real life sound.
Yeah. They do, as you say. You can feel them and you can hear them as they zip by you.
Hiss. Miller throws on the run, tipped and incomplete. It was Dustin Lyman trying to make the catch, and he couldn't as he was going to the artificial turf.
Yeah, those are two things that Jim Miller doesn't do a lot of, is that's run and throw on the run. You know, they got a little movement in him today with those bootlegs, and those have been pretty good. But his just scrambling and running out of the pocket and throwing, that's not one of the strengths of Jim Miller.
65 seconds to the half. Green Bay up by 7. 2nd and 10. Marty Booker makes the catch. It's a gain of 6. Marty Booker now has caught 5 balls tonight. Miller has completed 7 passes, but he's thrown for only 52 yards.
But, you know, the thing that he has done well, that the offense has done well, is they had a couple opportunities with field position, you know, by the taunting penalty we talked about, by the fumble recovery, and they've taken advantage of that field position and scored touchdown.
And it stayed in the game, down by 7 with a minute. 3rd and 4. Miller, and the pass is incomplete. And that will force them to punt. Marty Booker, the intended receiver, blanketed by Todd McBride, playing in place of the injured Mike McKenzie.
You know, the offensive coordinator of the Bears, John Shoup, is often criticized for being, you know, too conservative, not opening it up, not going for things. And I'll say this tonight, you know, he's trying to open it up. He is not being conservative in situations where they could be conservative.
Youngest coordinator on either side of the ball in the league. Shoup is 33. Maynard's kick. Pulled in 27 by Darian Gordon, playing with his 5th different team in the last 7 years. And the elite punt returner is out of bounds at the 37. And there's a flag down, ineligible man downfield.
Darian Gordon better not cover punts. He just better return punts, because There always used to be a rule. You're going down. If you can see their name, don't block them. And the way his hair grows over his name, you couldn't see his name, so he's going to get clipped. He'd be the most highly clipped player in football because you're going down. I didn't see his name. Whoom! You get him from behind.
He'd get clipped because he's not clipped.
There'll probably be a rule in the NFL, a uniform code. No hair covering your name.
Well, there's Mike McKenzie.
Yeah, I mean, his hair really covers his name because it's thicker. But if your hair covers your name, I'll guarantee you're going to get clipped.
They accept the penalty. Maynard to do it again. Line drive, bouncing ball. And then it's all Gordon can do to shovel it out of bounds at about the 37-yard line. So with 38 seconds, Favre will try to get Green Bay back into at least field goal range. 7 yards to 40,000 for Brett. And as you can see, with 3 touchdown passes already tonight, he's 2 away from 300.
They're going to have to make bigger boards for that, for his numbers. I mean, his numbers are getting so wide, they're not going to fit on a television screen. What's that new type of thing, that new screen they're coming up with where the television's going to be wider?
The plasma screen?
Yeah. You know, the big one, they're going to need that for Brett Favre's numbers.
Favre won't be 33 until next week. Hits Amon Green at the 44-yard line, and now Green Bay will take a timeout. Now, speaking of plasma, this is Freddie. That's a plasma screen here, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, this is the thing, but it's called DDTV. Isn't there something where it goes like wider?
HD.
Yeah, HD thing. But this is the biggest thing I've ever seen. And the good thing about it, look at this. You can draw on it. So if you put a play or something, this is how you work the telestrator. And then when you don't want it anymore, you said, I had enough of that. You just push down in this corner, and it all goes away. But to get his records there, you're going to need like this much room.
Can you day trade off this thing?
Yeah. I mean, it's up here, then things go up, and then they come down, and then they go here, and then you trade when they're there, and you go broke.
Well, plasma screen or no, there is where he stands. Marino at 420. Fran Tarkenton 342. Elway ended his career at exactly the 300 mark. And now Favre on 2nd down and 4. Throws on the run, making the catch. Terry Glenn, he goes over the 40,000 mark. And they take a timeout at the 42-yard line with 21 seconds remaining. 10-yard gain, 40,000, 3 yards now for Brett Favre.
Here's the play that got him that 40,000. But again, look at the time that he has. There was no one in that picture for the Chicago Bears rushing. So he was able to find Terry Glenn and get the ball to him coming across freely. Terry Glenn's trying to get that ball out of bounds. You see that? Yeah. He's going down. He was trying to get out of bounds. Then when he went down, he tried to put the ball out of bounds. But Brett Favre needs one more completion to get in field goal range. So that's their goal right now. Get one more, get in field goal range, then go for the TD.
Green Bay still with a timeout on 1st down. Favre slides to his left, and the pass is not caught inbounds. Driver was on the chalk, incomplete. That used up 5 seconds. There's Ryan Longwell waiting for an opportunity to tack on 3 with 16 seconds left in the half. Favre is now thrown for 271 yards, 40,000 in his career. Dan Marino, the record holder in that category as well, with over 61,000 yards.
Now the Bears were talking about deep one. When you look at their safeties, they're about 20 yards deep. There's no way they're going to let Brett Favre go deep.
Here he goes deep, and it's batted away by R.W. McQuarters. He took a shot anyway for Javon Walker.
Yeah, that's Brett Favre. You can have the guys back there. That was McQuarters was short. Then they had the safeties deep over the top, and there was no way that they were going to let them get deep. But again, we're talking about Brett Favre. Here's the depth of the safeties here. And there's no way that they're going to let this happen. But over on this side, it darn near does happen. You see, there's that little hole between the corner McWhorters and the safety before he gets over there. Brett Favre almost got it in that little hole.
3rd down and 10 now. Trying to pick up about 10 yards and give Longwell a shot. And get out of bounds or take a timeout. And it's caught on the sideline. And getting out of bounds is Terry Glenn. And that will enable Longwell to come in and try to tack on 3.
I think in life, if I ever had that situation where I needed a quarterback to make a play, when you just had one more play, I'd want number 4 to do it.
Well, here he sets up Longwell for what will be a 49-yard field goal attempt. They'll spot the ball at the 39. Doug Peterson will put it down, and Longwell will try to make it 24-14. Straight enough, long enough. And so Favre does put him in position, and Longwell cashes in. And Brett in the half throws for 287 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the Green Bay Packers are on top 24-14 at the half. Coming up next, the Toyota halftime show when we return after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station. The Fridge coming up next. Thrown in the first half. Jim Miller through 2. Brett Favre through 3. And with a 10-point Packer lead, we start the 3rd quarter. Longwell's kick is juggled, lost, loose ball inside the 20. McBride will pick it up for Green Bay and give the Packers possession. Coughed up by Robbie Abdullah, and McBride is right there to give Green Bay position in the red zone.
I'll tell you, you go in as a coach, and that's what you talk about. You know, we need life. We have to get something going. Let's get off, you know, a good kickoff return. If you're the Packers, let's get down there, make something happen on the coverage. Robbie Abdullah, the ball just goes right down through his numbers and his chest. Then it starts to bounce around. And you said Todd McBride right there. First of all, make sure you get it before you do anything with it.
And Favre will set up shop at the Chicago 17-yard line.
And things you don't want to get Brett Favre, you don't want to give him, you just gave him.
They don't cough up leads in the second half very often. 15 straight wins, longest streak in the league when leading at the half. Flagged down after the run by Green.
Well, Robbie Abdullah has to be thinking of all the things. You know, you're thinking everything is positive, and we got to change this thing around, make this our half in the second half.
Face mask, defense number 55. It's a 5-yard penalty. It results in a first down.
It does, because Green picked up 8 and then 5 more. Face mask penalty on Mike Caldwell.
Mike Caldwell there, number 55. You see him grab the mask right there. Whew. Talking about, he had his head on straight, then his head went perpendicular again for a minute. Mon Green's a tough guy, though. You know, he's a good runner and a good pass receiver, but he's also a tough running back.
1st and goal. They spread it out. Favre out of the gun, drops the football, and then just covers up at the 14-yard line. And let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Dick Duran said there are no secrets about what we have to do. We just have to play more consistently. He said our kicking game is the only place where we've been sound. Well, now that's something that they have to work on. I asked him about trying to get more pressure on Brett Favre. He looked at me, smiled, and said, we're trying. It's a hard thing to do.
If it was that easy, Brett Favre wouldn't be Brett Favre. Because we talked to Brett last night about, you know, how you would defense yourself. And he said, put pressure on me.
Yeah, pressure, not let him get into rhythm or hit his wide receivers so that he can't get the rhythm or the timing there. But if you play off his receivers and don't pressure him, this is going to happen.
Over the middle, that's William Henderson, the fullback, taking it to the 10, tackled by Azuma and Caldwell. 3rd down and goal. Favre is thrown for 292 yards. Checking out the wristband.
Yeah, he has the plays on the wristband. As Mike Sherman says this offense has a lot of verbiage. So that they don't have to go through all the verbiage, and just give him a number, and then he reads the corresponding number, and that's the play.
Lines up in the gun. Throws it to the outside. Green breaks the tackle, gets away from Urlacher, who then regroups to come back to make the tackle.
Heck of a play by Urlacher, and a surprise call by the Packers. You know, when you have Brett Favre and he's the best, you don't have to throw a screen pass on third down. I mean, the thing that he can do is get in the shotgun and throw the ball in the end zone. I mean, this is a heck of a play by Brian Urlacher. He misses and then bounces up and makes the tackle again. But I think, again, when you have Brett Favre and those receivers and you can spread them out and tight ends and stuff, you throw one in the end zone.
28-yard attempt now. And it is blocked. So the Bears dodge a bullet after they fumble the kickoff. Favre can't get them into the end zone, and Longwell can't even add 3. We think it was Mark Colombo, the #1 pick out of Boston College, with a hand on it.
You know, Mark Colombo blocked that field goal, but he got an assist from Brian Urlacher. Watch Urlacher here. He has Colombo. As the ball snapped, he's going to push Colombo and get some penetration. Mark Colombo got his hand up and blocked the field goal.
He's 6'7". He was their #1 choice. James Big Cat Williams, the other guy who blocks a lot of kicks, is also 6'7".
He's lining right up over the center. You know, in high school, you can't do that. And I don't think you can do it in college where you can the center. But in the pros, there's no rule against canning the center. So they put Colombo up there over the center, and then they put Urlacher behind him just to make sure Colombo gets a push.
And it works, and it's a big play. After the turnover. And the passing yardage, 287 in the first half. Almost a 4-to-1 Packer ratio. And a 10-point lead at the half. Jim Miller, only 52 yards through the air. That's a little bit more than 3 yards per pass attempt. Thomas averaging 3 yards per rush. And Booker has caught 5 of Miller's 7 completions. But you look at those numbers as they work on Ed Hockley's microphone. You know, if you would have seen those numbers and then somebody would have said Brett Favre would throw for 292 yards in the first half, you'd have thought the score would have been about 31-0.
Yeah, but you know, it was a taunting play, and then it was a fumble. You know, the field position, the Bears took advantage of it. But you look at that, what Jim Miller does, what Brett Favre does, and you look now. Here's a top quarterback. This is what you want to be. If you're an organization or you're building and you want to quit, this is what you want your quarterback to be. And sometimes you can realize when you play against the Green Bay Packers how far you are away from it.
After the block, Chicago starts from the 20. Anthony Thomas, 12 carries now for 35 yards, counting that one, gain of 2.
And the Bears are going to keep running. I mean, they're going to keep doing that. What they believe in is they like to make a 4-minute game out of it. You know, get down to 4 minutes to play and then a 2-minute game. But with Brett Favre, I think you better get close enough so that those things can happen in 4 minutes and 2 minutes. Okay. You can't let them run away from you.
Miller on 2nd and 8 to the outside. And that pass is good for a couple of yards. Pulled in by David Terrell, their #1 choice out of Michigan last year.
And if you're going to throw that little hitch pass for none yards, you better break a tackle. I mean, that has to be the theory. I think you really don't throw that thing unless that corner's up. When that corner is up there that tight, you're not going to make this play. I mean, are you going to get it and you're going to get none yards if he comes up and makes a tackle? That play was always designed, that little hitch pass was always designed when the corner is giving you a big cushion.
This time he picks up just 3, 3rd down and 5 from the 25-yard line. With Booker in motion, Miller looks the other way now, throws, open man, gets him. That's Des White, first down. Covered by Tyrone Williams. Well, Jim Miller I mean, he's not going to be Brett Favre. He's not going to be John Elway. I mean, he's just a guy who gets it done very efficiently. But like so many quarterbacks, it took him so long to even find a home. Spent 1 year with Pittsburgh not playing at all. Then he was a sometime starter in the mid-90s. Then he gets released by them. Then he's out of football in '98. Catch made here. This is Des White into Green Bay territory. And the Bears now mounting a drive. For a guy like Jim Miller, and we're seeing it with more and more quarterbacks, it's that maturation process. There was 94, doesn't play at all. 95 with the Steelers, plays 3 games. 96, he's the opening day starter, gets benched before the end of the game. Jags and Falcons, doesn't play in 97. He's with the Bears early in 98, but then they let go of him, and he digs ditches. In 99, he starts 3 games. In 2000, he starts 2 games, and then comes into his own last year. And now he is the man. He's backed up by Chris Chandler. First down, Thomas with the 36. And I think of guys, John, when I see careers like that, Rich Gannon comes to mind.
Yeah, and the thing about that, as those guys aren't playing, as you're saying, they're changing from team to team, they're gaining experience, and they're staying fresh. They're not getting hurt.
Rex Tucker is hurt.
He is really.
And an injury timeout.
What have you been up to, Mr. Moneybags?
It's okay. I put it on the
happen.
Well, it's going to be one of those where Anthony Thomas is a runner, and you're going to see Nate Wayne tackles him right into the back legs of Rex Tucker. One of those things where he's blocking. You see 64, he's right here. He's blocking, and then they just roll right up the back of his legs, and he gets his knee. He gets his foot caught in the ground, and then the only thing that can give is his knee. See right there, see his left foot is in the ground, and they all come down. 2 guys coming down on that left leg. And that was a bad one, and he knew it right then, and all the players knew it because they all got away from him, and the trainers just sprinted on the field.
Sprinted on the field and immediately called for the card. They knew how he'd have to be taken off the field. Virginia McCaskey is up in her box.
Of course, she's the secretary there. She's really the owner. She's George Hallis's daughter. Is her husband, Ed McCaskey.
Right. Son Mike, of course, and going back the last year. Now Tucker is gone, and we'll get a report. 2nd down and 8. Gandy is the left guard, and Miller on 2nd and 8. Steps up in the pocket, throws, open, making the catch is David Terrell for a 1st down. Check out what happened to Tucker with Melissa. What do you know, Melissa?
Well, Al, official word from the bench. He has a dislocated left ankle. He's out for the rest of the game.
And beyond, obviously, after he gets taken off the field.
Now that was one of those that I bet the players around it not only saw it, but I bet they heard it because the way they got away from Rex Tucker. And Rex Tucker had been playing awfully well.
Yeah. Brother Ryan, of course, is an offensive lineman with Cleveland, and sacked from behind is Miller. Ball coming out. Hockey looking in there as Kabir Baja Biamila, KGB, gets the sack, creates the fumble, and who has the football?
And that's what Biamila can do. Is he's a speed rusher coming around that outside, working on Bernard Robertson.
You have 5 zebras in there right now trying to find out who has the football.
And we had the same thing last Monday night. You know, you get in there and that ball can change 3 or 4 times.
But Chicago keeps it.
Bernard Robertson is a left tackle. If you're going to work on someone, that's the guy you're going to work on. Here he is. Here's Biamila right here. And you can just see he uses the speed. So you get that left shoulder down underneath his shoulder pad, and then you rip up, and the next thing you see is a quarterback. But it's all about speed, quickness, strength, and leverage.
inside. This is from the ump can. That's something I've never seen before.
This is the stuff that happens on top of the pile. Now, I'll guarantee you there's a lot more interesting stuff happening down under the pile. That would be the place to put a camera, is underneath the ground looking up.
Wouldn't have enough lighting.
Look at Biamilla. He not only made a good play on getting around Robertson, but he made a good play on stripping Jim Miller.
6-yard sack, 2nd and 16. Miller pressured again. Flag is thrown. Ball is loose. Here's KGB again. It was Joe Johnson who created it, and KGB, at least for the moment, has a touchdown, pending the penalty.
And Jim Miller didn't see Joe Johnson coming at all. He started to go to the left, then he started to scramble back the other way, and he got whammed by Joe Johnson.
Holding, offense number 74. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So that's Robertson. So 2 huge plays by Kabir, Baja, Biamila back-to-back. This one for 6.
Yeah, and it all starts here with, if we let it run, you're going to see Joe Johnson is going to come in. You see now, Miller starts there. Now here's Joe Johnson right here. You see when Miller turned to come back this way, Joe Johnson was right in his face. Roger Biamilla was also right where he was supposed to be. He was a good-looking runner going down that field, wasn't he, for a defensive lineman?
Yeah. Longwell for the point after. So Miller, who'd been sacked only 3 times this season coming into the game, gets sacked on back-to-back plays. And the Green Bay Packers are on top by 17 in Champaign. Kabir Baja Biamila with the interception return. By the way, we originally called it a sack for Johnson, but you can't have a sack on a play that results in an interception, so take that away. You don't even get a tackle. You don't even get a forced fumble. You get a handshake, I guess. That's
with Joe Johnson, he gets nothing in the record books, and it was a heck of a play. He made the whole play possible.
He made it happen. He gets nothing. This is Marty Booker, and he picks up a first down out of bounds at the 34. Big college football Saturday. The Hurricanes are #1 in the country. They're going to host Florida State at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. on the coast. And then later on Saturday, Texas, Oklahoma, the featured attraction. Penn State, Michigan, Oregon against UCLA. Regional action. Big Saturday college football right here on ABC. First down at the 34-yard line. Thomas to the outside. Turns the corner. Good hard running up to the 43-yard line. Tackled there by Nate Wayne.
You know, one thing Big Gilbert can still run, Gilbert Brown. I mean, it's amazing. You know, you think that he just kind of stays in the box, but just watch him. It's just fun just to kind of watch a guy 350 pounds. You think he just handles that. Watch him. He turns it on. I mean, Big Gilbert had a little burst there. Usually, you always think of him just playing tackle to tackle, but hell, he got out in open space and put a burst on.
Second down and 2. A misdirection here that doesn't fool Niall Diggs. Takes Thomas down for a loss.
There's some hitting going on down there now. I mean, this is right there. I mean, there's a separation to score 31-14, but that's Bear Packer football. I mean, they are really going after it now. This Packer defense. In fact, Ed Donatel, their defensive coordinator, was telling us last night that to be honest, their defense has been subpar this year. I mean, they haven't come close to being the defense that they can or should be, but in this second half, they're starting to look like it, aren't they?
No question about that. I mean, they had given up 114 points in their first 4 games. The catch here is made by John Davis, the tight end, to the 47-yard line. I mean, oddly enough, Green Bay with a record of 3-1, yet they had given up 3 more points than they'd scored in the first 4 games.
You know, it was something that, you know, that if they can win this game, they can get a 2-game lead in their division, which is big to them because last year they beat the Bears twice, but the Bears won the division. So they know, and, you know, Mike Sherman was talking about this, that you know, that by winning this one, we can not only beat the Bears again, but we can also get some separation in our division.
Bears only lost 3 games all year, 2 to the Pack and 1 on opening day to the Ravens. Miller And reaching behind him is Booker to make the catch to keep this drive going at the 30. And John, not only do you have a 2-game lead, but you already have beaten your head-to-head opponent, the guys that you're going to have to wind up knocking off in a situation where you both wind up with the same record.
Yeah, and as a coach, you hate to say that, you know, the 5th week of the season is a pivotal game or an important game or a have-to game. You don't want to use those kinds of words because there's so much more football left to be played. But having said that, this is pretty close to that.
No question. Very big early season game. 1st and 10. Miller, down he goes in the arms of Niall Diggs. A couple of big plays in this series by number 59.
They're starting to bring the pressures now because it was not only Niall Diggs coming on a blitz, but it was also Darren Sharper. And they, earlier they seemed to be playing Sharper back, and now they're bringing him up on the line of scrimmage, and they're bringing him. You see, here's Diggs here, here's Sharper here, and they're going to bring both from this overloaded left side. You see, by picking up Sharper, they let Diggs go free.
2nd and 16, action up front.
And that'll do it to you when you're playing against Bia Miller.
Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
You know, Kabir Bajia-Miller has so much speed that as a tackle, you know that you can't let him beat you to the punch. So you have to get up on him quickly. And then sometimes when you have that speed and he's outside on your outside shoulder, you will tend to do what Bernard Robertson just did.
He missed last week's game, did KGB, with a rib injury. Went over the Panthers, 2nd and 21. Bad looking screen intended for Thomas, who wasn't even looking around. He was covered by Cledius Hunt.
Well, you know, that's the old deal. That's the old NFL. I mean, this goes back 30 or 40 years, back to the days of George Halas, that, you know, after you get a lot of pressure from one side, you run a screen to that side. Well, of course, the defenses know that. I mean, Bajia-Miller's coming in there. He's raising heck with this offense, with this tackle, so they try and screen to his side. But this Packer defense is really revved up now.
They lead by 17. They force Chicago now into a 3rd and 21. And nothing there but white shirts, and winding up with the interception is Darren Sharper, but there's a flag down back at the 45-yard line. Yeah, it's a personal foul, and it's against Chicago.
Yeah, it's going to be roughing the passer. I mean, they were getting close.
And Sharper
look, either pulled a hamstring or he has a cramp. You know, he came into this game with a bad ankle. The way he was celebrating, I would have to guess he has a cramp.
After the interception, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 71. That 15-yard penalty is assessed after the interception. Green Bay keeps the ball, 1st down.
That's James Williams. So Sharper comes hobbling off.
He better get rid of that cramp, or it's going to be a pulled muscle.
From the 26-yard line, 1st down for Green Bay. After the Sharper interception, Favre airs it out right there into the arms of Terry Glenn. All the way to the 26-yard line, tackled finally by Mike Green. And when you see a guy like Glenn, you keep wondering, with all of the high maintenance that he was in New England, why they kept him and kept him and kept him, finally get rid of him. But look at this talent.
Well, you remember his rookie year, and you see he just runs right by the defense here. And I say that you can't outrun Brett Favre's arm. Had Terry Glenn continued to speed up, he would have outrun it, because that ball was a little short. But Brett Favre is going to make that throw. You get a step, and Brett Favre will get it to you.
Green to the outside. To the 20-yard line. Brett Favre, 341 yards tonight.
How much longer do you think Brett Favre will be doing this?
You know, I think I think he's going to do it until he's about 40. I know we talked to him yesterday. You know, he mused about going hunting in 3 or 4 years. I think you come in and out of that. I really do.
Well, you know, he said, one of the things he said, you know, I'm not going to be around here in 3 years.
I don't believe it. I think he's still going to be around in 3 years.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, because he's too healthy.
2nd and 5. Green. Too healthy, too good, too passionate about the game.
And I think that's the key. Being passionate, and the game is still fun for you.
Sure. And look at this. I mean, Jaworski had the mark for a lot of years, 116 games. And then there's Favre just blowing that record away. Most consecutive starts right now. Peyton Manning with 68 would be next. Do you think of Favre? They play 16 games a season. So that's 10 years plus 2 games.
Right, and then the hits that he's taken, you know, and he's taken a lot of hits so far this year. And how about that one where Azuma came in the blitz and hit him earlier today?
Tonight, 3rd down and 3, and that is Driver unable to make the grab. Coverage on the play by McQuarters.
Because, you know, you have to be able, I mean, in playing those games for 10 years, you have to take a lot of hits. I mean, you know, because everyone says you have to hit Brett Favre, you have to get him out of rhythm. So you come into the game, they're going after you.
It's amazing, and you know, he abused his body in other ways for a number of years too, but now he's, you know, father of 2. He's almost like, you know, the senior citizen of the Packers, the embodiment of the Packers, as Longwell tries to tack on 3 and can't. That was a 36-yard attempt. So he can add 3. The thing to me, John, in talking to a lot of quarterbacks through the years, is they can talk about retiring, and then if you retire too early, I know a lot of them, you know, say, you know what, maybe I had a little bit more time left. Maybe I should have run the string out a little bit more.
Yeah, and then if you do retire and you leave, then, you know, you can't wait 4 or 5 years and come back and do it again. So you have a window, and you have to either do it or not do it in that window. And I think eventually that comes to their mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's always he'll be able to hunt and fish and do all the things he wants to do and play golf. He'll just do it when he's 40 instead of 35.
Sometimes that looks a lot better than it really is too. That's what he said. He was watching a hunting show before the game last Sunday, and he was thinking, I'd rather be there than where I am.
From the 26. This is Des White, gain of about 6. Let's check in with Melissa.
Al, I talked to 2 Hall of Fame coaches this week to find out what impresses them the most about Brett Favre's record-setting streak, and Don Shula said it's incredible, especially at the quarterback position where you take so many hits. He said his toughness reminds me of the late Johnny Unitas, and Bill Walsh called Favre a true champion. And surprisingly, he said 2 years ago he thought that Favre had lost his edge, that he couldn't compete effectively anymore, but now he believes he's at the top of his game. And both coaches, Al, said that it amazes them, that they just marvel at the fact that he has played so well despite the pain and despite the injuries.
You know what? He's just a treat to watch. And I know I've heard you through the years, John, when you were at Fox talking about Favre, and that's, I think, felt by so many people who follow this game and love this game. He's really very much the embodiment of the league right now.
Yeah, and if it is a game, it should be fun. And if it is fun, then you should enjoy it. You should smile and you laugh. And Brett Favre does all those things. I mean, he goes through, in a football game, he goes through the full range of emotions.
Nate Wayne is going to come off, hobbling off for the moment. You know, cramp for Wayne apparently. We brought up the fact that Favre has the record, 162 starts. During that period, the Bears have had 12 different starting quarterbacks.
And I think that shows, you know, what they're trying to do. I mean, the Bears are trying to get at the quarterback position what the Packers have, and it's been a futile attempt for them.
2nd and 4 now from the 32-yard line. 2 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Green Bay up by 17. And that's broken up by Tyrone Williams, intended for Booker. Monday Night Football from Champaign being brought to you by Budweiser, brewed fresh in America. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. Ace, your helpful hardware place. And Nissan, and your Nissan dealer.
I'll say that this Packer defense, I think, has really adjusted well because, you know, they lose Mike McKenzie, their starting corner, in the pregame warm-up. And that's always a tough thing because you practice all week one way and then have to play another.
3rd and 4, the pass underneath, and the guy taking McKenzie's spot, Todd McBride, has had a nice night. Anthony Thomas makes the catch, but short of the first down.
And his fans are booing this offense now, and again, it's tough. I mean, the way the Chicago Bears play and the way Jim Miller is, they don't have an offense. And I'm saying this, I mean, there's not a lot of teams that do have an offense when you're down 31-14. Although I wouldn't mind having Brett Favre on my side if I were down 31-14.
Brad Maynard's punt taken 28-yard line by Darian Gordon to the 35-yard line. Well, the 500th Monday night game is coming up. It'll be in November, Oakland against Denver, in fact. So which is the greatest Monday night game of all time? Dolphins-Oilers, the great performance by Earl Campbell in '78. Cowboys-Redskins, the defending Super Bowl champions on opening day in '83. Bears-Dolphins, that phenomenal game with the undefeated team in 1985, at that point undefeated. Chiefs-Broncos, Montana-Elway in '94, and then Dolphins-Jets, which ended at about 1:17 in the morning. The 31-7 deficit erased by the Jets 2 years ago. You can vote at ESPN.com as Ahman Green sprints into Bears territory and is finally taken down at the 22-yard line. Green breaks one.
You know, and this is what it was going to be about all night. It was going to be about Brett Favre and Ahman Green. I think if you take Brett Favre and Ahman Green and put them on the Bears team, I think the Bears do what the Packers do. And you put these two guys on here, then this is what they do. And, of course, it's Bubba Franks is going to be the guy that starts it. Here's the tight end right here. He has to make that block, get the end man on the line of scrimmage. He brings his guy in, he gets that block, and that's the block that gives Ahman Green the corner. Ahman Green always carries the ball in his left hand.
Still fumble prone. Najee Davenport takes the ball inside the 20 to the 19.
But I'll tell you, I'll take that. I mean, with all the other things, you know, that was why they got him from Seattle, because Seattle thought that Ahman Green fumbled too much. But I mean, he's a talent. I mean, he's just too good to worry about a fumble here and a fumble there.
And right now the Packers are too good for the Bears. That's the end of the third quarter. Green Bay 31, Chicago 14. And Monday Night Football resumes from Champaign after this from our ABC station. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television.
It's in rivalry. Jeff Garcia and Terrell Owens lead the 49ers against Sean Alexander and the Seahawks.
Michaels and Madden are here for Monday night.
Some like football in their living room. Others like it in their face. If you like it like this, the Dodge Durango Tailgater Edition will make your weekend. You get a Coleman Road Trip grill, cooler, barbecue tools, and more when you buy any new Durango. Plus, get $2,000 cash allowance or 0% financing, and our 770 powertrain limited warranty. So bag the TV dinners and let the tailgating begin with the Dodge Durango Tailgater Edition.
Lines. I love lines, but not the same old lines. I think lines can be truly wondrous things. I like them long, sleek, and a bit provocative. Lines can transform an environment, giving it a spirit that rises up and goes, look at me.
Panasonic presents flat and thin TV. When ultimate style meets the ultra-real picture of Panasonic, it's a beautiful thing.
This definitely speaks to me.
Panasonic. Ideas for life.
Tonight's game is brought to you locally in part by Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
We'll be the first to tell you, there's nothing that remarkable about the back seat of a Nissan Altima. Until you realize how far away it is from the front seats. The 2003 Nissan Altima, thoughtfully equipped at $19,539. See it at your Nissan dealer.
Champaign start the final period. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Melissa Stark. ESPN Sports Center highlights and all of today's sports news follows the game as we begin the fourth quarter. 2nd and 7, Green Bay from the 19-yard line. A little dump off underneath to Tyrone Davis, and Davis takes it to the 10-yard line. First down.
You know, Brett Favre's been all over the place today with the bootlegs, and then we just saw there. But how about this? This was a bootleg left and that long one to Donald Driver. Then he comes out here and throws this one to Bubba Franks. He throws this one here to Terry Glenn. I mean, he's been something. He's been on target at any distance. I mean, he's been on target on the short ones, the medium ones, and the deep ones.
21 out of 30. 70%. Tyrone Davis, who made the last catch, is down.
The Bears would like to welcome.
You know, one thing, this Bear defense is getting lit up. I mean, they were a pretty good defense a year ago, but they sure haven't been this year.
442 yards they've yielded tonight.
I love playing two-hand touch, eating way too much, watching my team win with the Twins. I love quarterbacks eating dirt, pom-poms and short skirts, fans who won't quit, and those Twins. And I love them too. Here's the football.
Marbles lost the mob's money.
Who has the money? I have no idea.
Maddie is on the hook.
He begged me for this shot.
And Taylor's the man to get it back.
500 fights and you can consider yourself a tough guy.
Barry Pepper, Vin Diesel, Seth Green, with Dennis Hopper and John Malkovich.
Used to be there was a way to do things, and now everybody's feelings are involved.
Knockaround Guys, rated R, starts Friday. Jeep Wrangler owners speak their own language.
After the game, live coverage from Champaign on the Bears-Packers matchup, and police charge a coach with attacking a referee at a youth football game.
Tyrone Davis just now getting up. Couldn't tell what they were working on the sideline.
Well, you know, it looked like his neck. I mean, here, when you look at the shot, it looks like he gets it on his right knee, but he got hit there on the head as the second guy went through. And then they were looking at his head and neck. I mean, it looks here like it would have been his right knee. I think it was that second hit right there by Mike Brown.
They're down to just Bubba Franks now. A tight end, David Mark, is also hurt and inactive tonight. Amon Green picks up one.
The other thing that Brett Favre does so well too is after he hands the ball off, he does his fakes. I mean, he'll carry through a fake and he'll do a bootleg, and he's always checking to set up something else to see if the bootleg's there. Like Amon Green on that play ran to the left side, and Favre bootleg 10 yards out here to the right side just to check if they were holding for the bootleg.
Finishes the play, every play. On 2nd and goal, Favre slings it incomplete. Zipped it in the neighborhood of Terry Glenn. Jerry Azuma was there. Well, Jim Miller's numbers are not terrible. The quarterback rating is not particularly good, but 2 TDs, 162, but everything pales in comparison to what Brett's done tonight.
Well, the thing that, I mean, you can't play the Packers and have them not have any interceptions and you have 2 interceptions. I mean, if everything else were equal.
1 run back for a touchdown.
One of the things about throwing the ball hard and fast The defensive guys can't catch it either when you throw a bad one.
Can't even see it. And down goes Favre in the arms of Azuma. So that's the second time Azuma's come in on a corner blitz and gotten there. First time wasn't a sack, but it shook Brett up.
Yeah, he was trying to show Brett Favre there that he couldn't catch his pass, but he could catch him. And he does right there. And it's pretty easy when no one blocks you. Favre is trying to do a pump to the left and then come back to the right. He goes to the left, then when he turns right, there's Jerry Azuma.
Longwell now for a 35-yard attempt. Doug Peterson to hold it. And 3 more for the Packers. Up by 20 are the Green Bay Packers. 34-14 in Champaign, Illinois.
His name is Henry, Clay Henry. He's a fireman and a Jared fan from Subway.
He got real big on burgers and fries. Now he's down to a smaller size.
Looking and feeling better and enjoying the great taste of Subway's low-fat sweet onion chicken teriyaki. No wonder everyone wants to be more like Clay Henry.
Subway, eat fresh.
Football season's back, and so are Subway's 32-ounce trivia cups. Upsize your fresh value meal and grab one today.
The new Jeep Liberty Renegade. It gives you the power to conquer nature. As well as the ability to protect it. The new Liberty Renegade.
I am an American. I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I
I
am
am American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American. I'm an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
When these cops ask questions,
Truth or dare?
Dare.
Get that shirt off.
You take it off.
they don't mess around. An all-new NYPD Blue, Tuesday at 10, 9 Central.
Green Bay Packers, plenty of Packer fans here tonight. Pretty good haul from Green Bay to Champaign, but a lot of them made it.
Hey, this Midwest is something. I mean, you know, you can go to any of these towns and places, and you know, they got corn growing all over, and the people. I mean, the people here just love life. This is the Midwest.
There's White. Up to the 33-yard line. That's where Chicago will begin this drive. With 13-14 left in the fourth, and Green Bay in command.
Chrysler 300M, the most powerful V6 sports sedan in its class. With its seductive styling and inspired engineering, it is truly a pleasure to drive. Even when that sort of thing is strictly forbidden.
Samuel, is that you?
Yes, it is I.
Now from Chrysler, our 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, because love is a commitment.
No one spoils me like Mom, but Olive Garden comes close with their never-ending pasta bowl. They make all these delicious homemade sauces, then you pick which ones you want with which pastas. You get all you want, plus unlimited salad and breadsticks for $7.95. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're family.
I see linebackers blitz, cornerbacks too, cartwheels and splits, and foam-fingered fools. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see guys who kick, and girls who cheer, picture in picture, and ice-cold beer. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Break
Breaking news from Midas. Right now, get guaranteed lifetime brake pads or shoes for just $39.95, and you'll never have to buy brakes again for as long as you own your car. Next stop, Midas. Lifetime brakes, $39.95, only at Midas.
This Wednesday, forget baseball. There's a new national pastime. It's The Bachelor, and this guy never strikes out. The Bachelor, this Wednesday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Tomorrow, well, Mike Ditka guest stars. Cindy Crawford will be there as well, along with Jim Belushi, who's here tonight. And all new According to Jim. That's tomorrow, Tuesday night, right here on ABC. The Bears begin this drive with a pass to Marcus Robinson, complete, and we'll check in injury update from Melissa.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about injuries to the Packers defense all night long. Here are a few more. Defensive end Joe Johnson, who Mike Sherman called his biggest offseason acquisition, has a tricep injury. They're concerned about a possible tear. He, of course, out for the rest of the game. Safety Darren Sharper has a pulled right hamstring. And on offense, tight end Tyrone Davis, he suffered a bruise to the back of his neck. His return is questionable.
Well, for the Packers, I mean, that's the only thing wrong with what's happened tonight. I mean, Sharper is out. You saw Mike McKenzie in uniform, but he's out. Antoine Edwards is already hurt. They're hurting in the secondary.
And then Joe Johnson, and I thought tonight Joe Johnson had probably played the best game that he's played as a Packer.
And now he's hurt. Return to be determined as Anthony Thomas gets tackled by Nate Wayne after he picks up the first. Hold against the Bears.
Holding, offense, number 80, 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Des White. Well, John, I'm wondering about a 16-game road schedule, and that's what it's going to be for Chicago. The 8 regular road games. And then they fly down here and fly back every week for the home games.
That's tough. I mean, that's a disadvantage because, you know, you still have your fans, and this is a great venue, and the Bear fans are great, and they all come here and cheer for the Bears. But you have that flight, and you have that hotel, and you have that being away. All those things really take away from a normal routine that you can have of a home game. That's a lot bigger than a lot of people think.
No doubt. Third down and 11 here. And that pass is caught, and that'll be a first down for Marty Booker. Well, the Raiders did it. They did it 2 times when they moved from Oakland to L.A., and then L.A. to Oakland. They did the same thing in the years in which they made the move.
And it was tough on them. I mean, I talked to a lot of players and coaches, and they always said how tough that was, and Tennessee did it.
Right, and they moved from Houston. Without a huddle, it's Des White making the catch, but there's a flag down. Kind of fun being in a college town. I've been here. I've done some college games here in the past.
I like that. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
You know, one of the differences is that trees. You notice that? Right. I mean, you walk around and you have a campus around it. You have the stadium, and you have trees all over.
Right.
In the NFL, you don't have trees around your stadiums.
Good point.
You know, I think to be a Packer fan, I think you have to be willing to put stuff in your head.
No question.
That's, you know, it's not about cheeseheads. It's just about anything. If you love the Packers and you want to show that you love the Packers, put stuff in your head.
You have to. And your face as well.
Oh yeah. Anybody from the shoulders
number 94 did not get off the field before the ball was snapped. The penalty is declined, brings up second down.
The only downside, John, is you know me. I went out for a walk. I was looking for a 4 seasons.
You aren't going to find 4 seasons.
I found a 1 season.
Where?
Your bus.
Yeah. No, they have a lot of things here. I saw the biggest grill on my walk today. I saw the biggest grill I've ever seen in my life.
On like a Peterbilt, you mean?
No, grill where you grill meat.
Oh, a barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a truck grill. 2nd and 3 as Booker makes the catch. And Marty Booker gets taken down by Bowen, but not before he gets to the 17-yard line. So the Bears continue to claw. Miller will go without a huddle. That's a 31-yard pickup.
Watch what Miller has to do here with his center, Olin Kreutz. It was one of the biggest adjustments that he had to make because Olin Kreutz gets so low that Miller has to get low. This time here, he just finds Marty Booker wide open coming on across and up and missed tackles there. But watch this as Jim Miller comes up to the line of scrimmage. Now watch how low Kreutz gets. Now Miller has to get that low. He said that's one of the toughest adjustments he's ever had to make.
And Miller throws it behind Anthony Thomas. I've never seen a center get down that low.
No, that's one of the things the center and the right guard, Chris Valerio, also gets low. Those two guys get lower than any players that I've seen since the famous Buckets Goldenberg. He was the guy that used to get that low. I mean, that's what bucket is. That's your bucket. You get your bucket low. And guys that are centers and that were wrestlers will tend to get their buckets low. There's old Buckets Goldenberg.
Our man. Two-way player. Miller gets sacked at the 22-yard line. Getting him around the ankles was KGB.
He's having a big game. He was out last week and he just came back and they're moving him all over to see where he can find something else. Like we saw him on the right side earlier. Now he's going to line up on this left side against Big Cat there, and he just gets right around Big Cat Williams and stays with it and gets Jim Miller. The Big Cat just gets off a little late. Big Cat would wish that Jim Miller would move around a little more, step up or step away.
Kabir has 2 sacks, an interception, and a touchdown. Falling down, almost making the catch, was John Davis. And the crowd hates that call. I can't blame him.
Well, this I mean, to be a Bear fan is kind of tough. I mean, you get frustrated. And I've been in Chicago. You listen to talk radio, and, their offense, and they're conservative, and they won't open it up. And, and they don't like John Schutz's play calling and all this stuff. And then when they see a play like that, they can say, see, this is what we're talking about.
Well, they go for it on 4th and 16 with 10-10 remaining. And Miller guns it over the middle and incomplete. Looking for a flag was Booker. There is none, and they give it back to Green Bay. So the Bears stymied on this drive, and the Green Bay lead remains 20.
So let's turn to page 7 of our proposal, where we feel...
Page 7?
Should be the next page you have.
We don't see it. No.
Hold on. There it is.
Introducing Chrysler PT Cruiser Turbo. With an all-new 215 horsepower turbocharged engine, it can get you cross-town, cross-country, anywhere in the blink of an eye.
Let's move on to page 11.
Page 11?
I'm a player in the National Football League.
But that is not who I am.
I'm a member of a community.
Dedicated to making a difference in people's lives.
I'm a player in the National Football League.
Tuesday, tomorrow night, right here on ABC, John Ritter and the gang. Good show. 8 simple rules. For dating my teenage daughter. It's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, 7 Central Time.
You know, Brett Favre was telling us an interesting thing last night that this week during practice he popped his hip. And he said he was just kind of running and his left hip kind of popped and he didn't know exactly what it was, so he went to, they had an MRI on him. And he said after the doctor looked at us, well, what do you have? And he goes, I don't know. He said, I went out and played golf. I said, well, what did the doctor say? He said, I don't know. He said something about a fat pocket.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, a fat pocket in his hip. And he said he just kept playing.
So he had a little grimace coming to the line. 2nd and 6. Fat pocket or no. He's going to run with it. And down at the 27-yard line.
But you would think that an orthopedic would be able to come up with something else. I mean, you know, the parents send them to medical school and everything, and you have an MRI and your quarterback, and, well, what do I have, doctor? You have a fat pocket. I said, well, what'd you say? He said, I said, oh, okay. Never asked another question about it. He got a bad fat pocket in his left hip.
Arthroscopic surgery? I mean, how do you remedy a fat pocket?
No, but well, he doesn't know because he doesn't know what it is or what it means. But he just took the doctor's word and went on and continued to practice and play and do the things that he does.
The first 162 starts for those guys resulted in 115 wins for Montana. Terry Bradshaw won 107, and then Unitas and Brett Favre right there tied for 3rd.
Well, and that kind of puts everything in perspective how great those quarterbacks were.
And that one is off the fingertips of Najee Davenport.
The Johnny Unitas and Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana.
Yeah, anytime you see a guy around this long and then the graphic has those other names on it, you know where he belongs.
Yeah, and they are where he's going to go.
Josh Bidwell to punt. Leon Johnson is back to return it. High, fairly short kick fielded at the 38 by Leon Johnson with 9 minutes to play now in the 4th period. Green Bay trying to go to 4-1.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Bright copper kettles and warm wood and mixins. Silver white whiskers that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things.
What's brown to me? One word. Mahoney. Mahoney does the work of 3. So instead of 3 different guys for ground deliveries, overnight, and international.
Hey, how you doing?
And 3 different pickup times, all I need is 1 Mahoney and 1 pickup. You wore the shorts for TV, didn't you?
One driver, 1 pickup, 1 reliable network. UPS, what can Brown do for you?
We're here with the new 99-cent BK value menu right now. Welcome to the show, man. So what's new?
Thanks, Steve. There's a little controversy surrounding my tacos. There was a vicious rumor that they were 99 cents a piece, and I'm here to set the record straight. 2 for 99 cents.
Tell them about that. 2
together.
for 99. Not 1 or 2. You the man.
The new BK value menu speaks for itself, with 11 items for just 99 cents every day. Now you can have it your way in more ways.
Thank you.
Give it up.
Thank you.
Wednesday, when tragedy strikes close to home, these doctors will try everything to save their friends.
We're gonna lose this guy.
We can do that.
MD's Wednesday on ABC.
Long night for the Shy Bears. They're down by 20. Green Bay has led all the way. Now Chicago down 34-14 begins this drive from the 38-yard line, 1st down. Kabir Baja Biamila jumping. He can smell that 3rd sack.
You wonder how they jump unless one of the Bears move. He has to be anticipating.
Offside, defense number 94 is unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Everybody associated with the National Football League knows that man, the executive director of public relations, Lee Remmel. Wonderful man. We've known him for a long time. His 113th consecutive Bear Packer game. Think about that.
Well, that's Lee Remmel, and I think we talk about a lot of tradition and passion for the league and those types of things. And Lee Remmel is part of it. He's part of the history of this league.
Miller almost gets sacked and then gets it away.
I mean, you can go back and you ask Lee, like, when was the last time? He goes, well, I remember when Curly Lambeau was the coach. The Packers, we did this. I remember Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi told me that this is what we have to do. Mike Holmes, I mean, he can go back. I mean, he can jump from today to 30 years ago as quickly as anyone.
When you think about that, 115 games, 113 consecutive. So that's about 57 years worth of games between these two teams who've been meeting for 82 years now. Maybe 81.
We showed a shot of Brett Favre. He can imitate Lee Remmel perfectly.
Marty Booker up to the 50-yard line. And that's a first down. First game, November 27th of 1921. Wrigley Field was the site. Yep, that Wrigley Field. Hallis and Lambeau were player coaches. And Miller has that one knocked down. One of the other things that took place that day, Hallis caught a touchdown pass. And Curly missed 2 field goal attempts, and they still named the stadium after him.
And that'll turn you to coaching. That's what happens when you're a kicker and you miss a couple field goals. Back in those days, you just made yourself coach. And then you made yourself coach, and you win, then they name the stadium after you.
And people forget so many games were played at Wrigley Field from, 1921 through 1970. 2nd and 10. Marty Booker makes the catch, and still to this day, though the Meadowlands will soon surpass it, more NFL games have been played in Wrigley Field than at any other site. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you hate to lose those stadiums, and I know that eventually we're going to lose them all, but I'm glad that Green Bay is renovating, and I'm glad Chicago's renovating, because these new stadiums are nice, and the theme parks and all that stuff that goes with it, and I know what they're trying to do, but doggone it, somewhere you just like the tradition. You just like it. George Hallis and Curly Lambeau and those guys are looking down here. They say, that's the way I remember it.
Well, that's a rendition of Soldier Field, what it will look like. And as you can see, they're still keeping the columns. The columns will remain outside the bowl. And there it is. There's on videotape, a shot of how the construction's coming along, and they tell me they're right on time. They'll open there next year. Miller has that one knocked down. That one knocked down by Rod Walker. And let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, a few more injuries for the Packers defense. Cornerback Mike McKenzie, remember, he tweaked his hamstring before the game. Didn't play at all. Now their other starting corner, Tyrone Williams, he has a left hamstring injury. He will not return. It has been a busy night for the Packers trainers.
Yeah, and that secondary, I don't know what they're going to do next week. And they've got a tough one next week as Booker makes the catch and he gets taken down by Marcus Anderson. They go to New England next Sunday.
And that'll be one that, New England is going to have to get well on themselves. I mean, their defense is kind of falling apart on them there.
It has. Miami yesterday, San Diego the week before. That's Des White making the catch, tackled by McBride.
Yeah, and then they have to deal with Brett Favre and Amon Green and that offense. I mean, that's really what the Packers are all about. Remember they used to say that about Bear Bryant, that he can take his and beat yours, or he can take yours and beat his. I kind of feel that way about Brett Favre. Put him on any team, and that team's going to have enough to win in this league.
I agree. The most valuable player to his team of anyone. 2nd down and 6 at the 21-yard line. Miller gunning it, caught, and touchdown. That's John Davis, the tight end. 21 yards.
John Davis has been catching some tight end. Some touchdowns. He's taking Fred Baxter's place. You're just going to see him here. They let him off the line free. And when you're playing a zone defense, you can't do that. You have to get him bumped in or jammed on the line of scrimmage. If you let the tight end run free up the middle against the zone, it's going to be a touchdown.
3rd touchdown pass for Jim Miller, tying his career high. But right now his team still trails by 2 touchdowns. Edinger's extra point makes it a 13-point Green Bay lead. Monday Night Football being brought to you by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cold down easy. The Intel Pentium 4 processor. Can a better computer really change your life? Yes, Intel. Burger King. Say hello to the new 99-cent BK value menu. And Jeep, the most respected, honored, and heroic 4x4s out there. Only in a Jeep 4x4. The horse trailer. Whose picture will adorn that? That trailer is going to head west after the game. Heading out to Seattle. You'll see it on the road between here and Seattle. Well, we had Brady and we had McNabb and we had the Tampa defense, and then we had Ray Lewis. Might be back to a QB tonight, John.
Yep. And then that horse trailer will take off right after this game. And we'll be on the road going west.
Yep.
Now there has to be an onside kick. I think you would think at this point with 6:50, probably not an onside kick situation. But when you need 2 scores, that time starts to become a thing. Now you have 2 plays. If they use an onside prevent, I think with 6:50 and all your timeouts, you can probably still kick the ball deep. If they back off, or if you have. You can look at their alignment now, and this is what they're looking at. This is the way the Packers are lining up their prevent. And you can look to see if there's something there that you like, you may call an onside prevent. But I don't know that you have to force that.
Edinger. High kangaroo bounce, but reaching up is Robert Ferguson, wide receiver by trade.
Robert Ferguson.
Holding it into the 42-yard line. And let's go down again to Melissa.
Well, Al, Brett Favre's 85-yard touchdown pass to Donald Driver got the night started for the Packers, and it's impressive enough that Driver has gone from a 7th-round draft pick out of Alcorn State to Favre's #1 receiver, but that does not even begin to tell his story. He grew up essentially homeless in Houston, Texas, alternated living between hotel rooms and the back of a U-Haul truck. He remembers in 2nd grade lying in bed one night telling his brother, I am going to make it. I'm going to make everybody proud of me. And yesterday, Favre told us from day one, he has done everything he is supposed to do. Even when he wasn't getting time playing, he never complains.
Big night for him tonight. 4 catches, including the 85-yarder that got them rolling for 120 as Amon Green takes it to the 35.
As Melissa was just saying, Brett Favre really respects Donald Driver, and I think that Brett Favre felt that Donald Driver should have been playing more earlier than he has, but sometimes that's good for you too. I mean, to sit and to learn, and then when you get your chance, you get your opportunity, you're really ready, and Donald Driver is really ready.
One of the reasons they were able to let Schrader go, let Freeman go. They knew they could bring in Glenn. They knew they could bring in the emerging Driver. Green to the outside.
You see who's playing tight end for the Packers now? Oh, Frankie. Winters, bag of donuts. That's what happens when you run out of tight ends. You put Frank Winters on there. Although Frank Winters does play tight end in goal line, so that's nothing unusual.
Chicago takes a timeout. Their second. They have 1 left. There he is.
You just don't expect to see Frankie Winters out there on 2nd down, but what the heck, if you're running out the ball and you have to run, you know that he can block as well as your tight end. You see Rosie Colvin look at him. He was looking, he got blocked Frank Winters, then he looked back over his shoulder. What the heck was that?
Yeah. What package is this?
There's supposed to be an 80 number in front of me.
Next Monday night to the great Northwest we go. Looking very much forward to that. The Seahawks hosting the 49ers. Seahawks now, of course, in the same division as the 49ers, the NFC West. And Green gets taken down by Urlacher. And Chicago will take its final timeout. So they're conserving the time with a lot of time left here in the fourth.
And Brian Urlacher is still playing full speed. Just watch him here and how much ground that he covers. I mean he's reading the play. Watch him. He sees that. He just sprints right down the line. There's no way that ball wasn't run at him. That ball was run away from him, but he got to the line of scrimmage at the same time Ahman Green did.
Chicago has now used all of its timeouts, and they can stop the clock once more because of the 2-minute warning. That's it. So they'll try to mount a drive, and then, of course, if Green Bay can get it back, they can begin to use all of the 40-second clock. And right now, the Packers will go for it here on 4th and 4 from the 36. Vital for Chicago to stop them here, and they can't. Because Favre hits Terry Glenn over the middle to the 29 to move the chains.
You know, and you know that you're telling your team, you're telling your guys, we need one more play, and Brett Favre says, okay, I'll get here, I'll make it. Here's Terry Glenn, he's the inside receiver there. He's going to run a little slant. You see, he just comes off like he kind of suckers the defender and then just gets that inside position. And Brett Favre hits him perfectly.
And now at the 29-yard line, 1st and 10 with a little over 5 minutes to go, and Chicago unable to stop the clock. Green picks up a couple. For Glenn tonight, 8 catches, 154 yards. We check in again with Melissa.
Well, Al, you know Terry Glenn's been suffering from those post-traumatic migraines, and they all stem from hitting his head on the ground in the season opener. I asked him what it feels like. He says it's just dizziness, ringing, and pulsating in his head, and when he gets hit, it intensifies by about 100. Now, Mike Sherman sent him to a neurologist this week in New York, and he changed his medication. He said he's definitely sleeping better. It's cut down on the migraines, but it certainly has not eliminated them.
He's a fantastic talent.
Well, remember his rookie year with the Patriots, he catches 90 passes.
Here's Green. Packers playing clock ball here. Going back to what Melissa was talking about, that hit that he sustained in the first game of the season, opening day against the Falcons at Lambeau Field. Snapped his head back.
Yeah, that's one that gets you. You know, it's when the head is snapped back more than the hit straight on. Look at this one. He wasn't going to take this hit tonight. I mean, Brett Favre, that was one of the great throws and great catches of all time. I mean, the way that they timed that and didn't run him into the safety for the collision.
Never seen a harder thrown ball. Favre goes down, loses the ball.
Favre was telling us about Terry Glenn yesterday, how different he said he played golf with him the other day, and he said, well, you take a cart and I'll take my own cart. And he said, you'd be playing a hole and Terry Glenn would be off in the woods on another hole and just hitting balls, and you'd be on 4 and he'd be on 3. And he's just a different type of guy, but all you do is shake your head and say, well, that's Terry Glenn. But Brett Favre seems to enjoy Terry Glenn.
And then he wanted to play garbage. You know, he wanted extra money for, Barkeys and Polies and all that stuff. But he was, taking triple bogeys. It doesn't work that way.
Well, he wasn't even playing. He was Brett Favre's partner, and they won the money. In fact, from Longwell, they won it.
Longwell missing this one. Earlier a 49-yarder, but this one not even close from 50. So it remains a 13-point lead. Wednesday, when tragedy strikes close to home, these doctors will try everything to save their friends. William Fichtner, John Hanna are MDs. Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Eastern Pacific, 9 Central, right here on ABC. Memorial Stadium in Champaign, Illinois, some 140 miles south of the Windy City.
I think the stadium was built like in 1921 or 1922.
Just
this
about
has some tradition to it.
Sure. Just when the Packer-Bear rivalry was beginning is when the stadium went up. Miller going deep and getting free is the big play man, David Terrell, and he takes it to the 5-yard line. So here come the Bears again, tackled by Darian Gordon.
I'll tell you one thing about this Bear team, they do hang in there. I mean, their defense has been having trouble all night, and then you just think that they're out of it, and then they make a play. Then they make an onside kick, and they don't get it. And then they get the ball back, and then they make another play.
52 yards to the #1 pick out of Michigan last season.
I wouldn't be surprised if they look for David Terrell again, because they really like him down inside the 20-yard line.
Found him last week for a touchdown. And this one is picked off by Wayne. And this will write a finish to it after a valiant effort at a comeback by Chicago. So from euphoria and the chance to get within a touchdown to all the air being let out.
You're going to see Nate Wayne. We talk about playing a zone. You see him. He's number 54 here. Now you watch Jim Miller. Now he's trying to look, and then he's looking in the middle. Then he has to bring the ball back, and then Wayne just reads that all the way. He was trying to get it in there to Anthony Thomas, but if you watch Miller, you see he's looking at him right here, and then he has to bring the ball back down, and I think that gave Wayne a chance to get over there. Well, in fact, there were 2 defenders right there.
Nate Wayne likes the lights. He's come up big on Monday nights in the past. Green picks up 7. Last 4 Monday night appearances for Nate Wayne. 2.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. Meanwhile, Green, kind of quietly tonight, has gone over 100 yards. It's 105 yards, 25 carries. Of course, he had that big 43-yarder earlier.
But I think you just have the feeling with this Packer offense that every time Brett Favre wants to take a playoff, he just hands it to Amon Green, and that's kind of pick your poison. Either way, they're pretty tough.
Nice way to take a playoff. 2-minute warning in Champaign.
This is Jake Plummer of the Arizona Cardinals. Jake helps the United Way build stronger communities by supporting educational outings.
Ostriches and giraffes are best
Jake
friends.
has a lot of pride in his team.
The best exhibit here. Did you know that the cardinal is one of the most feared birds in the animal kingdom?
Cardinals? What about eagles?
Cardinals eat eagles.
What about falcons?
They eat them too.
It doesn't look so tough.
Well, he just is. The little fella's got a big heart. Shh, okay, listen. Boom, 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 boom.
Let it go, Jake.
Boom.
It's the birth of a division rivalry. Jeff Garcia and Terrell Owens lead the 49ers against Sean Alexander and the Seahawks.
Michaels and Madden are here for Monday night.
Pepsi postgame show, a live interview from the field. Horse trailer player of the game on our Pepsi postgame show right after this one is over. Meanwhile, in baseball, the Giants beat the Braves. They advance to the National League Championship Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Giants winning tonight in Atlanta. And for those of you joining us from baseball, just to recap what's taking place here. Big start for the Packers. 85-yard Favre to Driver pass for a touchdown. This made it 14-0. Tyrone Davis. Back came Chicago. Miller to Booker to make it 14-7. But Favre answered that with that pass to Franks. And then Miller threw his second touchdown pass to Davis. 5 touchdown passes in the first half. Then Kabir Bajia-Biamila ran an interception back in for a touchdown. Davis scores for Chicago. 332 yards for Miller tonight, 359 for Favre, but Green Bay has pretty much dominated, even though Chicago just made an effort to get back into it on a 1st and goal, but the pickoff by Wayne, 13-point lead, and Green Bay can run the clock out now. Chicago does not have a timeout as Amon Green picks up 3.
I think, you know, part of the problem with the Bears defense is the injuries. I mean, you take a Ted Washington out of there and take a Holdman out, you know, and that's part of it. But the other thing, when you're lit up, it was Buffalo last week gained, what, 430 or 440 yards, and then they have, what does Green Bay have tonight? They have well over 450, I would guess.
457.
Yeah, so, you know, in 2 games, your defense has darn near given up 1,000 yards. So you're thinking, whew, somewhere we have to stick a hole in this thing.
3rd down and 1. Green again. And down to 1:10, and they can take another 40 seconds off the clock. Vote for Monday Night Football's greatest game at ESPN.com. The keyword is MNF 500. 500 Monday night games. The 500th will be some beauty. Oakland, Denver, November 11th.
So now you're telling me that those 5 games that you showed are the 5 finalists.
Those are the 5 finalists.
So of all the 500 games, they've narrowed it down to these 500. Now you vote on which one of those 5.
Absolutely.
Of the five, not the 500. We already got the 5 of the 500.
That's right. It's like we already had the primary. This is like the general election now. Here's Bidwell. It's fielded by Leon Johnson, and he goes nowhere. Taken down back at the 13-yard line. It was a good selection of games, I thought. You know, you had the Earl Campbell game. You had Dallas and Washington, which was a beauty in the early 80s. There they are again. Bears-Dolphins. Remember the Dolphins, the only undefeated season, and the Bears went to Miami late in the year, undefeated. That's the highest rated game in the history of Monday night.
That was a great game. I don't have a vote. Well, I guess I could if I just put ESPN keyword.
You could vote.
But if I would have done all, if I knew how to do all those things, but I would vote for that game. I thought that was.
Yep.
I thought the most fun in the National Football League, and I've been saying this for years, was 1985 and 1985 Bears. I thought that was the most fun in football since I've been in this business of broadcasting.
Buddy Ryan's 46 defense. Mike Ditka, Jim McMahon.
We had
Peyton,
the fridge on that time.
Singletary.
You know, at the beginning of the game, Melissa talked about today being Dick Duran's birthday. It's a tough birthday for Dick Duran, but it's also the anniversary of the day that Walter Payton broke Jim Brown's rushing record.
Yep. Now, of course, Emmitt Smith on his way to breaking that record, and the Green Bay Packers are on their way home with a record of 4-1 and a 2-game lead in the new NFC North. The Pepsi postgame show coming up. Meanwhile, Brian Urlacher and the Bears have now lost 3 in a row, and a bye week coming up. The night belongs to Favre and the Packers.
Honey, you remember when we bought this house, you said we'd remodel the kitchen?
Vaguely. See, the problem is I just don't have the time.
We can take care of the installation for you.
Can?
Countertops and cabinets. What about tile floor?
Well, sure. Floors, garage doors, even a roof if you like.
Guaranteed?
Absolutely.
I could have done this.
I could have.
Ford trucks are driven hard every day, and built Ford tough means power. Power to take whatever you can dish out. It's made us the truck leader in this country. Our trucks are built to work, and low-end torque is where the work is done. And so when you hit the accelerator, we have great low-end torque. You can't fake it. Power is something that we're going to hang our hat on. We're going to be known for it.
One double agent facing 2 crossroads in her life as the 2 men in her heart meet for the first time.
So you're Vaughn.
The parents she never knew may be meeting for the last.
I will kill you.
A new alias, followed by a new practice, Sunday on ABC.
John, unanimous choice.
Yep, that was an easy one. So we got another guy to haul across the country.
You sort of knew it. I mean, he was the favorite. He was the pregame favorite. Didn't disappoint. Speaking of him, let's go down to Melissa.
All right, Al. Well, he is now 17-4 against the Bears. 359 yards, 3 touchdowns. Why do you have so much success against this team?
I don't know. I wish I did know, but I'm not complaining. You know, the guys, our receivers, I can't say enough about what they did tonight, and of course the rest of our offense. We did a heck of a job and put points on the board. We had some other chances, but it was enough to win.
You were banged up a little bit in the second quarter. Of course, we all knew you'd come back, knowing you.
I'm glad you knew.
But what happened?
Kind of got sandwiched between two guys and got hit in the head and just kind of blacked out for a second and got hit in the elbow and kind of pinched a nerve in my neck. But I'm glad you knew I was coming back. I wasn't quite sure.
Now, you turned 33 on Thursday. You told me yesterday you feel older than that. But is that really true? I mean, you don't look like you feel older.
Well, I guess I'm trying to lull them to sleep. And as long as they think I'm getting older, then I'll be okay. But I feel a little bit older. You know, I still enjoy playing the game and still playing at a high enough level that they want to keep me around. And as long as we keep winning, I'll keep hanging around.
A great early birthday present. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Al. Well, the Packers with early command of the NFC North.
2-game lead for them. 4-1 are the Green Bay Packers. 2-3 are the Chicago Bears. This has been the Pepsi postgame show. Final score again, 34-21 Green Bay. Seattle next week. The Seahawks against the 49ers. And now stay tuned for your late local news. Those of you on the West Coast show, the Drew Carey Show, followed by Whose Line Is It Anyway? Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark. Good night from Champaign, Illinois. Tradition continues. Sports' biggest events right here. This is ABC Sports Championship Television.
ABC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
Every Tuesday night, ABC presents the Comedy Extravaganza, starring John Ritter.
I just wanted to give Bridget a kiss goodbye. I know.
Jim Belushi.
Yeah, baby.
The one and only Bonnie Hunt.
Wild card Joker, woo, out of there.
And Sarah Rue.
Okay.
ABC's All-Star Tuesday Night Comedy Extravaganza. A night of comedy so big, you'll still be laughing in the morning. Every Tuesday starting at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Good evening. I'm Diane Burns.
I'm Ron Majors. Next, the Packers prevail as the Bears play their first Monday night game in 5 years. We're live with complete coverage from Champaign. Also, a look at those Bears fans who are hoping for a celebration but left with disappointment.
And stick around for the live post-game coverage. It may be a matter of time before the players and coaches come out, but will they talk about the big blowout tonight?
So what would you say to an oil company?
My biggest fear is that he'll look back on our generation and maybe feel that we didn't do enough or we didn't care enough. And he'll have too much of a burden of responsibility, and it's sort of, you can't go backwards. Once we do so much damage, it's really hard to reverse it.
There are 75 great reasons to drive a Volvo during our 75th anniversary model year sell-down. Including one very Volvo reason. And there's another great reason to do it now. Special model year-end savings on all 2002s. See your Volvo retailer today.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew you'd like chocolate cake.
Yes, I will marry you.
What?
I love it.
Oh, wow.
I'm engaged.
We're engaged.
I'm so surprised.
And I'm like, I'm the one that's surprised.
How long you been dating?
2 weeks.
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Hold on. Talk to her. She's excited.
Hey, hi, Mom.
Of everything.
Applying for a home loan? Come to Washington Mutual instead. We write our own approval rules. That's the power of yes.
I found it. I found it! Oh, wait a minute. It's from '89.
Your local Ford store presents the Dynamic Duo. Two exciting cars that will add a little zip to your life. First, it's the ZX2. It has an aggressive new look and now comes with 0% financing or $3,000 cash back. Or get where the action is in Ford Focus. It's the best-selling car in the world and now available with 0% financing or $2,500 cash back. Ford Focus and ZX2. Two dynamic cars, two dynamic deals. Only at your local Ford store.
Jose Sanders and Judy Sue, weekday mornings from 5 to 7. This is ABC 7 News at 10, Chicago's #1 news.
It was bombs away in Champaign tonight. The Bears dropped a few. The Packers just unloaded on Chicago. And so Green Bay set out to blow the Bears away on a chilly night in southern Illinois. And they did, winning big 34-21. Good evening. The Bears hope to pounce the Packers before a national audience.